InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Let's go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this season finale of the 2014 Touring Pro Series Virtual Mini Challenge. This is the big one. We've already crowned one champion in our first of our 4 TPS Winter Series in the VSS with Alexander Lauritsen. Now we get the chance to crown a second. It's Eric Strana versus Chris Butcher for their first TPS title. Both of them have come close, and both have always been the bridesmaid but never the bride. But this is the standings coming into the championship fight. As it stands right now, Eric Strana has 278 points to Chris Butcher's 265. There is a 13-point gap, and we have 2 17-lap races to decide who walks away with the 2014 VMC title. Is it going to Sweden, or is it coming to the UK? Is Butcher finally going to get the title that he missed out on last season to his teammate, or is Strana going to capitalise on his best ever championship position of 3rd place and finally get his first title in what has been a sensational time in the TPS for the young Swede? We'll find out over the course of 217 races. My name's Scott Woodwiss, giving you lead comms, and joining me in the commentary box for this, what should be hopefully a fantastic final round of the championship, is going to be my regular commentator, John Munro.
Yep, hello everyone.
And also on cameras, and here to also just enjoy the atmosphere and also to help us out with cameras and give his input is the very eccentric but wonderful Keith Barrick.
I don't have any input, Scott. I never do. I just mumble stuff.
I think all the times we commentate together, that's not true. I don't believe that for a second. But nonetheless, it hopefully should, with the 3 of us in the commentary box, be an entertaining and fascinating end to this. What's been an incredible season, and we'll get your thoughts on it, John. Looking at the championship table, we've got Strana at the top, Butcher in second, Wiesemuller, who dropped back after some problems with technical problems with his wheel, and then Dweevlar, Tveit, Sarlo, Callan, Davis, Neto, and Fernandez rounding out the top 10. What a season it's been, and what a way to round it off on this magnificent circuit. What a situation we have in this championship.
Yeah, I think it's always really special when you've only got 2 drivers fighting out in the last race. Obviously, it's always going to be good no matter how many drivers, but there you can see, the trend map of how the championship's set up. And you can see Eric Strana got a great start to the season, narrowly ahead of Butcher, had a terrible time in the mid of the season, and that was when Butcher really did stretch the gap. And it looked like it was going to be down between him and Robert Wiesemuller, our reigning champion. But Butcher had such a big lead, everyone was, in no doubt that he was going to be the champion. But then, of course, he had that disastrous round at Taruma a few weeks ago, and Strana suddenly jumped back into the lead. And here we are today. Strana had a great round last time out at Campo Grande, and he's sitting pretty at the top by 13 points. But I think the thing that's most intriguing, Scott, is the fact that none of these guys have ever won a championship.
Well, what about the amount of drivers, too?
Absolutely. One thing we've got to point out is that this could be potentially one of the biggest fields that we've had in TPS history. We have got a staggering 46 cars here for this race tonight. That is absolutely mind-blowing. And the fact, if you think about it, we're here at Mid-Ohio. This circuit is only about 2.2 miles long. It's pretty narrow. There's only really one realistic passing spot here, which is down at the end of the back straight towards turn 4. So I think, gentlemen, the phrase controlled chaos is the phrase we're looking for. In fact, we could even get rid of the word control. This could just be chaos. The 217-lap race. It's mouth-watering, but quite worrying at the same time, I think.
Well, it's Mid-Ohio. It's exciting. The elevation, driving is a joy. Thankfully, we're in lower horsepower, smaller cars. I mean, handling this place in a GT car is just an absolute knuckle breaker over the course of an event. But this is going to be this many cars with such a very prestigious title on the line for 2 drivers. I can tell you, nerves are going to be a factor, and it's going to see who's going to be able to hold strong.
Well, as far as I can see in the server, we've 32 cars in the field. There's a few drivers who have either come back or making their debuts in the championship. I can see one man who's actually in here is, in fact, our VSS champion. That is Alexander Lauritsen. He has come in to help strengthen THR's attack on the championship because, of course, he's here to primarily support Chris Butcher in his bid for his first TPS title. The Countfield Racing Boys are back in a brand new blue and yellow livery, quite resplendent in that livery as well. Adrian Campfield's here with Paul Patrick, so those 2 guys are already one of the first guys out onto the track. I can also see that we've got Oscar Hardwick in here as well, or Team Smile. We've also got Rob Taplin for Walker Racing. Duarte Lopez has managed to get himself into the field as well. I can also see down, he was 31st in practice, Murat Dogdu as well is also in there too. So a few new drivers in here, a few names, a few drivers from other championships. Really to spice things up for this final round of the championship. A couple of special liveries as well. I can also see that Andrew Waring's got a Gilles Villeneuve-inspired livery, and it's resplendent in red and black. So it just looks, so Keith getting rather excited at that.
Well, it's not only that, but it's just the fact that you've also got the Gilles Villeneuve, and then you have the Jacques Villeneuve of Ryan Callanan behind. They're going
of course.
I think it's because Ryan and I spend so much time together. He's looking to maybe get a Canadian citizenship going on. Maybe is that what he's looking for?
Well, quite possibly. I'm not sure if you can help him out with that one, but you'll have to wait and see. But what's intriguing is that Ryan Callanan, he always races with a Jacques Villeneuve helmet, and now he's got the car to match it as well. I think he might be going a bit retro with that livery, of course, because I think he may have run that a couple of times before in TPS races of old. But quick note on the track, of course, fantastic Mid-Ohio sports car course, 2.2 miles long, situated near Lexington, Ohio, and it's hosted many events. Of course, it's hosted various sports car events. It's been home to what was IndyCar, Champ Car, Kart, whatever you want to call it as well, and of course what was the American Le Mans Series. So really, it's a wonderful circuit, very small, but very tight and twisty, lots of elevation changes too. So you have to admit that, John, I think with a circuit like this, it does invite great racing and close racing, but of course, with the lack of passing spots, it does mean that if you're going to make a move, you have to pick your moment and you have to be incredibly sure and committed when you go to make that pass.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen many championships over the years at the Touring Pro Series held, and they're fought out at Mid-Ohio, and every single race has provided fantastic racing action. And so far this season in the minis, almost every round has provided that as well. I mean, we saw one of the greatest ever races, Scott. I'm sure you'll remember the Taruma race was absolutely ridiculous chaos. And Mid-Ohio is usually quite similar. There's always controversy, there's a few difficult braking zones, and a lot of places where the drivers will easily lock up and might find themselves rear-ending the car in front. And when you've got so many teammates in a race like this can cause massive controversy as well. Look at the slipstreaming there going on by the THR boys. You can see Alexander Lauritsen in the THR blue car at the back of that 3-car train with, I believe that's Wiese Muller and Butcher ahead. But the interesting thing about practice, Keith, is that we had Butcher and Strana obviously putting in so much effort in the practice for this event.
Yes.
They both want to win it, and they were first and second.
Yeah, of course, and I mean that's where they need to be. They've got to be able to put these lap times down, because if there's one thing I can say about Mid-Ohio is track position is everything. Pardon me. The fact that there is only the one really strong passing zone and there's lots of drafting going on. If you bobble at the start, or if you mess up qualifying and you start 7th or 8th, you cannot expect to win that race. It's just with the level of talent that you've got here, you just can't expect to get through 7 of some of the fastest touring car drivers in the world. You can't expect to get through them, so you really have to keep that in mind. And I mean, Scott, like if you look at these guys racing around here, there's just no room for error.
There really isn't. Of course, we've got our first influx of times coming through onto the board. Lots of times coming through pretty quickly. And currently top is actually Alexander Lauritsen, the now brand new Virtual Supertech Series champion. And he's now top with a 1:38.280. Not the fastest time we saw in practice, and that was a 37.9 from Eric Strana, the championship leader, with Chris Butcher, as we said, tucked in right behind him with a 38.0. Just quick note on Alexander Lauritsen. If the eagle-eyed amongst you may spot on the side of his Mini a Volkswagen logo, now why is that? Now we'll give you, may have mentioned it a couple of times, especially with the Virtual Carrera Cup. He has very fortunately gone into the same kind of footsteps that Kelman Linda has laid down. The fact that he is heading into the VW Scirocco R Cup, which very prestigiously follows the DTM Championship in Germany. So Alexander Lauritsen making his step from sim racing into the world of real motorsport. So wish him all the best in his endeavours, and hopefully he'll stick around as one of our TPS drivers who and TPS kind of looking for the ambassador, shall we say?
Ambassador, yes, that's the word.
Ambassador. I was searching for the word, but finally I found it. That's great. So,
well, while we're searching for the word, look who has slipped up to the top spot provisionally.
I did see it. Eric Strana, championship leader, has popped himself to the top of the times, 1:38.162. Just quick note for anyone who's possibly watching for the first time as to how this works. I think we've had someone pop into second. Paul Patrick, in fact.
Paul Patrick
jumped up to fastest time, 1:38.1. And Andrew Waring in that Gilles Villeneuve liveried Mini has gone into third with a 1:38.2. So he's out there doing it for the Canadians, doing it for Gilles, which is fantastic. Butcher now goes to second. Butcher goes to second, and immediately behind Lauritsen he goes to a 38.0, so the times are tumbling down. And of course there's so many cars on track, it's quite difficult to keep up with what's going on, but of course the times are changing all the time. So we get a quick update on where's the top 10 is. We're now just over halfway through the session. So Lauritsen currently quickest on a 38.0, Butcher second on a 38.1, Paul Patrick third on a 38.14, Eric Strana fourth on a 38.16, then we've got Waring on a 38.2, Chris Shepherd in for Puppy Racing, who put in a fantastic effort last time out in Campo Grande, on a 38.284. Ryan Callan in the Jacques Villeneuve livery car is in there as well with a 38.3, and then we've also got 38. That's Adrian Campfield now 7th on a 38.331. Callan on a 38.35. Lucy Muller on a 38.38, and then Miguel Neto with a 38.4. So, of course, now Keith, you've wasted around this track quite a few times. Take us to a lap of Video High, because it is a wonderful circuit and it's a great place to drive.
Of course, and Eric Strana just came through turn 1. It's a very fast, got a little bit of camber to it. Coming into turn 2, Eric, you're going to see here, you come up over the crest and it kind of rolls away from you. The track kind of has a little bit of off camber, and it's very difficult to get the power down without running wide, which would affect your run down this long straight. And as you can see, I mean, this is the highest speed you've got here. There's going to be a lot of slipstreaming. And then headed into this right-hander is where you're going to see all of the action. You could see 3 wide, 4 wide, but it's a downhill brake zone. You're going to get a little bit of different material on the pavement there. Use a little curb, come up over to the crest here, and this is where the car gets very light, and you can see it pushes to the outside of the track. It's just the way physics works. A quick right-hander here, you want to get close to that curb, run as wide as you can. This is all about momentum through here. This is almost like a little bit of a roller coaster. Up, over to the right, and then now this corner is very, very tricky. As you get into it, you have to let the car get light, but not too light, as it comes up to the outside of the track where you can very easily drop a wheel and again affect your run down this fairly long chute here. Fast, flat out left-hander. You're going to run as wide as you can, and then you're setting up for what almost seems like the longest corner in the world. It's double apexing, and you need to get that time just perfect so you can get through this little kink here, which gets you onto the start-finish line straight, which ends a lap here at Mid-Ohio. And again, your second passing zone will probably be into turn 1, but you need to be sure you are beside, because you have the pit exit there and also a curb that pops up out of nowhere.
Well, whilst we're looking at that, the man we need to look at is the man who's currently third quickest, Patrick, because he is absolutely flying. He is up in sector 1 by 0.2 of a second. So Campfield Racing, of course, one of the newer teams to the championship, but of course they made an absolute stormer of an impact back at Velo Park when Adrian Campfield was up there and took, I'm pretty sure, I think it was a victory in his first, in one of the 2 races, his first ever race at TPS. Of course, he's done a bit of sim racing beforehand, but of course he's mainly raced in I think it's Formula ADAC, I think it was, and so he is experienced in real racing, but it's another one of those real races that's coming through into sim racing and doing a great job at the same time. Of course, he and the Campfield guys, and also the guys at Campfield Junior, have been making an impact, and they are trying to pick up a mantle which possibly teams like Precision may have left off. So Paul Patrick came across the line, doesn't improve. He lost time in the second and third sectors, and he's still third on a 38.144. He was a 10th off his best time. But we're coming to a minute left in the session. A couple of guys on personal best. I can see Eric Tveit in 12th on a personal best, and so was Duarte Lopez. But we're seeing here Eric Strana getting a tow from Eric Tveit. And looking back from the last race, John, I'm not sure if you saw much of it because I know you weren't around to commentate on it live, but Tveit put in some very risky moves in the last race at Campo Grande, and there was talk that possibly he was going to get he was on kind of his last chance with his license. He was 1 point away on his license from getting it revoked and possibly getting a suspension, which meant he wouldn't have been able to take part in this season finale to help Eric Strana, give him that crucial support that he needs to help him and Ice Cold gain both the driver and teams championships. But how crucial is it that Tveit is actually
purple
here?
Everywhere.
As I'm watching now, quite a few drivers are going purple. We've got Chris Butcher, Adrian Campfield, Ryan Callan and Robert Wiesenmuller all purple at the moment. But before we look at that, how crucial is it that Tveit's here to give the level of support that the other guys at THR are giving Butcher for this race?
I mean, exactly. Eric Tveit is the most important man on the grid, you know, besides Eric Strana himself. Tveit's going to be the most important man for him. He's only got one teammate to support him, and he may have a 13-point advantage, but with the number of THR cars and also, of course, your Campfield Racing and, you know, people like that are going to be up there Airstream with Waring and Walk Racing, you're going to need as many teammates there to support you as possible. And Tveit's going to be absolutely key in Strana's championship bid here, because Tveit's going to need to set a really good lap. To be fair, he is on a good lap right now, but he's going to be hampered by Strana if he if Strana mucks up his one. So it's going to be interesting to see as they come through the S's there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of drivers are looking quick towards the end of this session, and look how close the times are as well. You've got 2:10s covering the top 7, and we did see in practice there was 2:10s covering the top 11. So this shows that slipstreaming is very important in this track, because that can of course gain you that time. And as you can see, Strana and Tveit are trying it out here.
Well, Callum's currently up in set 2, so he's coming up towards the end of his lap as the clock has run down to 0. So could Ryan Callan get himself a couple of places up the grid before the end of this qualifying session? Now the flag is out. He's actually in the pit, so he's actually decided to abort that lap. But he did get himself up to 6th whilst we were talking about Strana there. We'll see Strana then coming to the end of his lap, as is also Eric Tveit's on a personal best, so he can find a couple more tenths as he comes across the line. And Tveit goes to 5th, so he actually gets himself up there right behind Eric Strana position-wise, but he'll be just behind on the 3rd row. But the flag is out and qualifying is over for this first race of the final round of the Virtual Mini Challenge, and that we do believe have a grid. So quite a sizable grid of cars. I think we've got about, looking on my screen, we have 34 cars in the server out of the 46 that were stated to be starting this race, or registered at least. We can have a look through the grid. It's Alexander Lauritsen, very crucially on pole position for THR, and alongside him, in almost the best possible place to be on the front row, is Chris Butcher. And more crucially, he is ahead of championship rival Eric Strana. Paul Patrick is sat third with a fantastic effort for Campfield Racing. Strana is there in 4th. He needs a great start to get around Patrick and to get amongst those THR guys on the front row to get the best possible chance of retaining his championship advantage. He needs a clean couple of laps. He needs a clean race in order to give him the best possible shot of getting his first TPS title. Eric Tveit, his teammate, starts right behind in 5th. Andrew Waring with a superb lap starts 6th. Ryan Callan moved up in the final moments of the session to go 7th. Chris Shepherd with another great performance for Puppy Racing in 8th. Then we've got Adrian Campfield in 9th and Robert Wiesenmuller in 10th. So no real surprises up there in the top 10. People who we expect to be up there are in amongst it. Is there anyone outside the top 10, guys, that you were expecting to be kind of do better than they have done? I can see a couple of people already, but let's get your thoughts on how that grid's laid out, and if there's anyone you think that's out of position that could potentially cause an upset in these 2 races, especially in this first race.
I mean, looking at Dweevelar down in 11th, that's a big name to be down there. Of course, Peter Dweevelar, 4th in the championship, and also was champion in 2012 Virtual Mini Challenge, so he's a big name that's slightly further down there. Maybe didn't
also
quite get the help
VTM
from
as well
Ryan Callan.
Multiple TPS champion.
Yeah, exactly. And looking down there, Oscar Hardwick, of course, making his debut in these cars, so you can't expect him to be too high up there, but he might be slightly underwhelmed with 15th place. I know Adrian Holm, we know how good a driver he is. He's been, out there winning races in the V8s quite recently, and he's been doing well in VSS, and he's all the way down in 19th, so a lot of big names further down the grid, but that of course gives them a chance to build their way up as well.
Looking through the rest of the field. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
Well, I was just having a look through here. I mean, a couple of guys, Adrian Holm, Rob Taplin, obviously they've been doing, they're fast in other respective leagues, but they do have racecraft that can definitely, mix things up a little bit if they can get through and maybe find a bit of pace amongst other cars. Sometimes there are drivers that don't have that out-and-out pace on their own, but they can find it once they're in amongst a crowd of cars, and that's a racecraft thing. So we'll see as this goes on. Waring obviously is up within the top 6 in his Gilles Villeneuve livery, but I would expect to see the usual players up at the front and kind of causing a bit of a break, because you know as well as I do, both you guys. I mean, when there's a battle going on in the middle of the pack, they're not worried about catching the guys in front. It's about we're here. Let's do this. Let's get some racing on.
And of course, that's the most crucial thing. Of course, if Butch can get himself to the front, and I have a feeling maybe that Lauritsen might, quote unquote, voluntarily or give Butcher the lead, because of course, if he's got clear road in front of him, it gives him the best possible chance to break away and also to streak away from Eric Strana, because of course, Strana's in 4th. Lauritsen needs to kind of effectively, even though he's not in the championship hunt, he needs to. If I was Lauritsen, me personally, if I was on pole position, I would kind of allow Butcher to get the lead in front so he could start streaking away, and then try and just hold up, not on purpose, but to try to purposely make sure I'm doing it deliberately, but just do something just to halt Strana's progress to try and challenge it. But of course, I think what everyone wants to see are the 2 championship contenders going at it wheel to wheel on track, hopefully without any contact. But what a spectacle that's going to be, and of course with about a minute and a half left in warm-up before we get the first of these 2 17-lap races to finish off the 2014 Mini Challenge, the Touring Pro Series. It's been absolutely incredible across all the season. Of course, we started off at Curitiba, then we had head across the rest of the season, of course, mainly Brazilian tracks that we went across. Then we have finished up here in North America, so we've gone all across the continent in terms of Brazil, and over here now is the US. So it's been an amazing championship, and I think what do you think, especially John? Of course, you've been here for most of the races with myself. Has it been one that I think that we're likely to remember? Has it been a really memorable championship, or has it been one of those that really has only come alive in the last couple of races because of the championship fight and the situation between Strana and Butcher?
No, I think from the start it's been an absolutely epic championship. I mean, you just watch every broadcast from the start and it's full of absolutely exciting moments, and one of these seasons that you'll look back on and think, oh, I remember that race. That race was absolutely fantastic, and we've seen that on far more than one occasion this season. I remember I think when I commentated with Keith in the Cascabel race, Keith, you
yes,
remember, how exciting that was. We were going 4 wide into every corner, and then the likes. I mean, there's been highlights obviously throughout the season, as there always will be, but also controversial incidents, which we'll see that every season. We'll see cars upside down and everything like that, and I think this is probably going to be the most important race of the TPS Winter Series so far. The big championship battles are always exciting, but this one could go down in the history books, especially with so many top-end drivers taking part in these cars.
Well, it's a championship for one or the other, and it's not nice to think after a long championship that second place is not a good place to finish. But if you put in an entire season and you're there and it's in your grasps, it's a very hard thing to take as a racer that you didn't get it done, because to get in this position again, you need to complete another entire season of racing to get to this point without any incident, without bad luck, without any number of things that happen and throughout a season. So these two guys have got themselves here. It's just a matter of who wants it more and who can, avoid those things that sometimes are just unavoidable. So we've got a formation lap now with 17 laps of racing in 2 races. So this is going to be exciting. So we always have to start with something, and it's going to be predictions.
Well, so let's have a look at predictions. Well, this is going to be tough because, of course, we've got quite a large field of drivers, a lot of very exceptional drivers up there in and around the top 10. This is going to be tough. How about
we'll start with just a win in race 1. Let's see who you think is going to win race 1. Well, and who's going to be ahead? Okay, sorry. This is what we'll do, because we got a nice warm-up time here. So the winner of race 1 and who will be ahead, either Butcher or Strana, of the two of them. That's what you got to predict.
I think, of course, with the situation we have on the grid, as I said, I think possibly Lauritsen won't be so reluctant. I think he'll probably welcome the fact that he will have to relinquish the lead, or if he doesn't do it straight away, he'll probably do it with a couple of laps to go. Because in all fairness, Lauritsen's there mainly for support. He's not out there for himself. He's out there to support the team.
Correct.
And also to mainly support Chris. So effectively, if he does lead for quite a while, I would imagine it's going to be, almost certainly, he will relinquish the lead, if not at the first corner. If not, he'll do it with the last couple of laps to go to let him through. Of course, that means, effectively, Butcher will not only win the race, of course, he'll be ahead of Strana, because as soon as Chris gets in front, he has clear track. Strana won't have that. He'll have to really fight his way through the field, and effectively gets to Lauritsen. That'll be a bit of a stopgap. Effectively, that's what Lauritsen has to be. He has to be the stopgap for the rest of the field to allow Butcher to run away with it and get all the points that he needs. So, because effectively, I think Butcher for the win, and finish ahead of Strana. Obviously.
Gotcha. Okay, so Butcher for the win, Lauritsen for the pick, and Strana behind. Now, John, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the obvious thing to say would, if it goes as the script goes, Lauritsen lets Chris pass, Chris runs away, and Lauritsen holds up the rest of the field and lets Chris win the race. That's the textbook way. But I've learned enough lessons this season from virtual minis to know that anything can happen.
No, it never works that way.
Always expect the unexpected. You can never predict anything. I mean, obviously, as I say, Chris has got to be the favourite for this one. He's got a very good chance of taking a double win if he can keep his head together. But title pressure situation. Chris has never won a championship before. Obviously, Eric hasn't either, but he's got less to lose starting from 4th place. So,
of course,
the way it's looking, I think, obviously Chris is probably going to be the favourite to win the race, but you cannot predict anything in these minis.
Okay, so your prediction is you can't predict. No, to me it sounds like you're picking Butcher for the win ahead of Strana. Would that be correct?
We'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I think I'm probably gonna agree with you guys with
Mike
Butcher.
Bell for the win.
Yeah. Well, here's how I see it happen. I see it as if Lauritsen is fast and he's consistent. I noticed that in practice. I have a feeling that if Butcher can get on his bumper and just stay there and push, and Lauritsen isn't making a lot of mistakes recently, he is really kind of coming to his own. I see Lauritsen dragging Butcher around and getting a bit of a gap as Strawn is going to need to fight with Patrick. They will not battle. They will not swap positions. They will just stay nose to tail. Lauritsen will drag him around to the win and give him the spot near the end of the race. That's my prediction, because I do believe that Patrick is in this to, well, Patrick is trying to get a good finish. He's not interested in letting people by. But Strawn and Tveit, if they can get by Patrick early enough, there might be a challenge. But I do predict Butcher as well for the win in this race.
So, cars lining up then for the first of 2 races here. Of course, we're getting ready for the first 17-lap thriller of what it's surely going to be then. Lights are going to come on in a few races' time. We're going to get set to possibly crown a champion. Lights are up for the first race in Mid-Ohio. Lights are green, and away we go for the virtual mini challenge. And looking for the front now, looks like Lauritsen's going to do exactly what he's been told to do. He's come across already trying to defend from Paul Patrick into turn 1, but Patrick's got the inside run, and he's coming up the inside, and Butcher has straight away done exactly what we thought he would do. I told you he gets the first corner first, and he has done exactly that already. Lauritsen second, and they're going to go 3 wide behind it. Strawn, Patrick and Tveit on the run down towards the keyhole, the right-hander, which is slightly off camber, as in the middle of it, and through they go almost 2 by 2, but out of it they come, and Butcher is indeed leading. That's exactly what he wanted. That is perfect for Chris Butcher, as Lauritsen's now into second place. Patrick's up to third, but more crucially holding up Strana, who's swarming all over the back of the Brit in the Capital racing car, the blue and yellow car in third position. They're coming, look at this, in the huge 34 strong pack plunges down towards the hard braking zone of turn 4, as you see Strana trying to go down the outside of Patrick, can't get it done. Looks as though the Englishman is holding on to that third position for the moment. Tveit is holding on in 5th, Waring's in 6th, then we've got Cal in 7th, Campbell's up to 8th, back with Chris Shepherd of Puffy Racing, and Biesenmuller holding on to the top 10. Brilliant start, but as we said, boys, that is perfect for Chris Butcher, exactly what he wanted, and now he's got a great chance to streak away with the lead.
I think Butcher owes Paul Patrick a late Valentine's card for this one, because you can see him behind him, the Campfield Racing driver, just holding up the rest of the pack, you know, almost unwillingly well. He's just, you know, Eric Strand's stuck behind him, and Alexander Lauritsen is running away, and Chris Butcher, of course, right out there at the front. This is a perfect scenario for the THR drivers, and it couldn't really have gone better.
So as they head now down towards the end of the first lap, you can see now also Waring's trying to attack on the inside of Strana. Looking back now from Paul Patrick in third place, there is Eric Strana. He is not exactly where he wants to be personally. He needs to be up there challenging with Lauritsen and Butcher, who himself has just crossed the line to end the first lap. So he leads then by 0.4 of a second, as I think was under a bit of contact there. Strana just nudging the rear of Paul Patrick, saying, come on Paul, get on with it, you're not in the championship fight. I am going to chase the guy that's leading this race. And he might try and dive up the inside, but of course the thing is with this situation, we're only on lap 2 of 17 in a championship fight. Strana is going to have to try and walk the fine line between driving a cautious race, being careful, but also taking risks, because he can't sit behind Patrick the whole race. He has to get on with it, and of course the fact now he's got Andrew Waring putting him under pressure as they head down the back straight for the second time means that if he's going to get on with it, he has to be soon, because these guys have got to get on with it, especially Strana. So I see there was a bit of smoke, and turn 1's obviously someone's gone off.
Oh, and it looks like he's just not quite getting close enough. What he's going to need to do is at the keyhole, he needs to leave. He needs to be close enough through the corner that he's within, well, obviously within the slipstream, but he is far enough back that the slipstream is effective enough to pull him to the inside of him going in to turn 4. This track is all about timing, because the only way you're going to make a pass through this section of track here is if he makes a mistake, because you cannot throw one up the inside there. This track is all about momentum, and really he's got a plan for this. He has to make this happen. It's either that or he's going to have to get a little robust and maybe give him just a little bit of a nudge, just maybe get him a little loose, and just maybe, you know, just get him offline a little bit and get through in that manner. But as of right now, Patrick doing a hell of a job keeping Strana at bay and just saying, hey, look, I don't care, not my championship.
The back onto the pit straight to end lap 2, and Butcher now has a 1 second advantage over his teammate with a completely clear track in front of him, and that's a luxury that Eric Strana doesn't have right now, because of course he is absolutely sandwiched between, as we said, both Paul Patrick and Andrew Waring, and his teammate Eric Tveit is somewhat helpless about a second back in 6th place, and not really making too many inroads on the cars in front. So this is not really working out too much for Strana. He's now again coming under pressure from Waring. He's trying to get his nose up the inside through the keyhole.
Yeah, you see, this is what I was talking about. See, what he's done is he went in hot into 2, and this made it so he didn't get a run exiting the corner. Now he's working to get that draft. If If he could get a run off the corner and be this distance behind, he will very easily be able to slipstream down the insides. He's just not quite there. See, he needs to not attack in 2 and focus more on coming through 4, and he's not going to get it on the outside here. It's always I've done this many times myself, going into that corner where you think you can get them on the outside, but it never works. It just doesn't. You end up getting passed by 2, 3, maybe 4 cars, and then stop for lunch.
An interesting fact is if Butcher finishes first, as he is right now, and Strana finishes 4th, if that result occurs in both races, Chris Butcher would win the championship by 1 point. So that just kind of shows you what's up for grabs here. But obviously we know anything can happen, so these results, you know, definitely with only 3 laps out of 17, nothing's certain yet. But if the 2 races were to finish 1st and 4th, with Butcher 1st and Strana 4th, the championship would be decided by 1 point. So that just shows you how close this championship is.
I think it's fair to say, much like the Spanish Inquisition, nobody expects a clean result. So it's going to be something intriguing to see how this one plays out. We're only at the end of lap 3, and already Butcher has pulled out his advantage again by another 10. Tvite's certainly on the pace of 38.0 to set the fastest lap of the race at the end of that one in 6th place. But what's intriguing now is Patrick has now pulled a small gap now, about half a second from Strana, and he's now having to defend quite a lot. Defend to the hilt from Andrew Waring to head back down towards the keyhole. He's got the outside line. Waring's diving up the inside. That could be crucial for the championship if he doesn't get up there on the inside. Waring's gone too deep, and Strana back through into 4th place. So Waring made a desperate dive and a lunge up the inside. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get that car stopped in time. And now look what's happened, because now he's in a nice cold sandwich. Because Tvite is now right in there. He's going to cause some problems, and the more places he can make up, the more trouble it could spell for Butcher later in the race. Now Waring's having to defend. He's leaving the inside line open for Strana, but Waring's going to try the outside run into the keyhole. Surely that's not going to work. There's a small piece of contact, and thankfully Strana's kept it on the road, but he's coming under some substantial pressure, not only from Waring, but in many ways from his own teammate.
He's needing to focus forward. This is the problem. He's only focused on defending, and this is what Patrick to get away. And you know that the fact that he was on Patrick and he could have gotten by Patrick, that just what John just said about the points. If he finished third here instead of 4th, but look at this down the inside. He's got Andrew Waring trying to squeeze through on the curb. Tvite down to the inside of Andrew Waring, and he's going to squeeze through. Eric Tvite goes to 5th. Book it. Now he's on the back of his teammate. Now he can get a little bit of help here.
What a fantastic scrap going on between this lot. In fact, now that's kind of given Strana a bit of breathing space now. He is finally in 4th place, and now he can try to settle down, because now Tvite is causing the stopgap. He's playing the role of defence against Andrew Waring. And also intriguing enough, Ryan Callan, the 68, the Jacques Villeneuve multicoloured liveried machine. Looking down the rest of the top 10, Visa Miller currently sits in 8th, so he's kind of much further away than he would like to be, helping his teammate. Chris Shepard in 9th for Puppy Racing. So a few cars kick up the dust on the exit of turn 1. And Miguel Neto rounds out that top 10 and under attack from the 2012 champion Peter Dweebler, with Adrian Campfield not showing the pace that he did in the past couple of races he took part in.
Even in practice too.
Absolutely. In both Taruma and also when he took a victory in Velo Park. So Campfield, of course, has been had other real world issues and other world commitments that he's had to attend to, which means he wasn't able to attend a Campo Grande. But of course, getting used to life back in TPS with the virtual minis, and he is really trying to push on, but not making too much progress in 12th. He's 6.1 seconds off the race leader Chris Butcher, who is kind of lucking into a nice kind of rhythm here now. He's starting to settle down at this point. But of course, now the battle's on for second between Lauritsen and Patrick. And Patrick, as we said, is almost kind of acting as a second rear gunner. As you see in the background, that's Tvite and Waring going side to side on the exit of, I think, what was the chute. And Waring is now really determined to get on with this race. We now look from the front bumper, looking forward at the young Norwegian Eric Tvite in that blue ice.
Oh, Waring can't make room there. Gets contact.
Bit of contact, tips him almost slightly sideways, and Tvite holds in front. The thing with these front-wheel drive cars, I've said it so many times, you don't want to get this car around, to get the car out of a slide, you just simply boot the throttle and counter steer, and it brings the front end around. So you can see Andrew Waring's feeling pretty racy. He's getting pretty desperate to try and get through here, as Tvite gets sideways through turn 1. And did he hold on to it? Yes, he did, but it's now allowed Waring onto the outside, down towards it. And here comes Callan. They're going to go 3 wide towards the keyhole. Surely not quite steady on have some sense. And then the brakes now towards the right-hander. And also Keith Barrick's going to get involved. That fight goes around.
Oh, look at this. And Andrew Waring is the one who takes the worst of this.
He's slightly dropping back. and this is having a fantastic scrap here. They're going to go 3 wide again. Wiesemüller's in the middle, Tvite's on the right, Waring's on the left, and Callan's come out on top as the winner. He's lucking into this one as they come back down towards the pits.
That gravel trap better be prepared on the entrance to the S's, because this is going to end up with interiors for some of these drivers.
Waring down the inside of Tvite. There's contact. Tvite's off into the grass. And in behind him, who's that there? That's Robert Wiesemuller coming through in behind. Tvite's wide. Waring contact again. 3 wide.
Oh, Wiesemüller's pushed Shepard off.
Shepard is
Tvite
going
goes
off.
around.
Oh, Eric
contact.
Tvite into the side of Andrew Waring. Waring's across. There's a, oh, it's melee.
Dweeblar's in there. Dweeblar's in there. Neto's in there as well. And that's a shame.
We're gonna pull this back because I saw some pretty crazy stuff going on there. We need to just get a little more, find out exactly what happened. Because if we look back, let's pull this back. Let's see, this all started back in turn 4. So let's get on board here with Andrew Waring. As he gets into the inside, little contact, curb sends him into the side of Tvite. So now Tvite, Wiesemuller's on the back. And as these guys come up through, now this is where the contact starts. Now as they come through here, Tvite gets into the side of Waring, and he bounces across and gets into the back where Waring hits the tires, sends him across into the track, and that is what causes the pandemonium and mayhem which we just witnessed here. So very unfortunate, a lot of drivers being taken out in that incident. Let's have a look at the, I'm just gonna pull through here. And there's
Waring's out of the race, and Campfield and Dweeblar, they're all out of the race, so they obviously all put up too much damage there. But that really was, unfortunately and worryingly, overly predictable.
Yeah, you cannot go 3 wide through that section of this track, and it's just too narrow. It is just it's too tight, and a number of drivers that close is going to cause a huge wreck when you have one that comes across the track. And these minis are just not that tough.
And also we saw Chris Shepard was in the pits. There was some damage. He, I think, was bore the brunt when he hit the side of Andrew Waring's car as well, so he was involved in that one. But that's a shame because Waring was having a fantastic run. Tvite somehow through all of that is still going. I'm pretty sure possibly with that slightly damaged and Ron now restyled Mini Cooper after that.
Let's have a look and see what kind of damage he did sustain.
He's left his.
Oh, look at the rear.
I think the rear end's been well and truly crumpled, and also so is the left front as well. That's
yep, I see that
a
there.
couple of dents.
Yep,
so
exactly.
7th place. Let's look at the big benefactors from, if there was any benefactors from that. The big benefactors were Ryan Callan to 5th. Wiesemüller's up to 6th on that one. Tvite dropped back down to 7th. Oscar Hardwick's up to 8th. With Karamadaru Bogdan having.
Oh wow, Mr. C.
It's a long time since we said he's been having a great one. I think the last time he had any kind of great one was pretty sure it was back in the Clio's, Lime Rock Park, season 3.
His last race was April of 2013, so he's had quite a hiatus.
Yeah, and just saw Hardwick there on the exit of turn 1 running wide. That's now opened the door for Mr. C to jump up the inside, and that has meant that Bogdan has relieved Hardwick of 8th place, but Hardwick's coming back up the inside, not without contact. As they've had enough of that already. Like I said, there's never a dull race with the minis, and this race is testament to that. As they head back down the back straight once again, Luis Fernandez is now in 10th position for Small Power. Small Power benefiting somewhat with 2 cars up in the top 10. Ben Haxon just behind 11th. Lennon's up to 12th. Adrian Holm is in 13th in the thick of things. Also providing support for Ice Cold. Here's the 3rd car. 3 wide in front. The Fernandez has pulled off a double pass. So how on earth has he done that? That's incredible. There must have been contact between Bogdan and Hardwick into the keyhole.
Well, let's have a look at that again, because that's
absolutely
a fantastic move.
Oh, Bogdan hit the rear of Hardwick there. And was that intentional? Or did he just leave his braking too late?
I think he just missed his braking mark a little too much. Let's have a look. Bogdan just. Oh yeah, there was no way he was making that corner. I think he just got a little too hot into turn 4 there, but nevertheless, still, Luis Fernandez taking advantage.
And they're still going behind. So go on, John.
And that's allowed Ben Haxon, of course, into the top 10, as you can see. So you've got Haxon, Hardwick, and Fernandez all in similar looking cars.
Oh, what a move! Is that Oscar Hardwick just goes by Luis Fernandez in the final 2 corners? Did anyone expect that? Oh, Ben Haxon, I'm so apologies. Yes, I was not expecting to see that move there, but let's hop on board. As he goes to set up, Oscar Hardwick just dives down the inside and says, "Thank you very much."
And Haxon lost his braking point. He just went too wide into that corner. So Smart Power now find their cars in 8th, 9th, and 10th. So as behind, they're still going after that. So now we've got Holm on the outside, Haxon in the middle, and Bogdan on the left. as they head into the keyhole. Who's going to come out on top? I think Bogdan might get it, unless Haxon has enough grip to hold it around the outside, of which he doesn't. So Bogdan's got the move done. So these guys are still scrapping amongst each other. Now, I'm just looking to see what's going on here in this kind of field here, as at the moment...
Well, we've got we've got someone going on the inside. This is Gary Lennon looking to try to get by Ben Hackison, as we've got a pass. Who's that? That's Adrian Holm trying to go around the outside of Gary Lennon into turn 4. Not quite going to do it. Hackison in 11th, battling with Bogdan just in front of him. In behind, you got Gary Lennon, Adrian Holm, Duarte Lopez, and Reese Gardner, who I did hear he was struggling with frame rate with this many cars here in Mid-Ohio, but he is hanging onto the back of this pack, which could see him move up as high as 8th position if he can make his way through. So Reese Gardner, who's had a pretty tough winter season, I know Reese pretty well personally. It's been a tough go for him, so I'm really happy to see him having some good fun and actually getting some racing in here. As he looks down the inside of Duarte Lopez, a little bit of contact. Tagged him, sends him wide. Duarte Lopez looks okay, carries on. Reese just gets back in line, but look at this train of cars, Scott. I mean, we've got how many cars here?
About 7 or 8. Just looking at that, and then Tvite's still in 7th. Of course, Tvite's 7th, looking as they filter their way through.
The other train is slowly catching this group because they're battling so much. So
and it's headed by Jimmy Hughes. So Jimmy Hughes is leading that in 16th. So he's now bringing the back end, the rear end of the field through the pack and towards the midfield and into the front. So we're seeing here Tvite's pulled away. So effectively Fernandez heads the tail from Hardwick, then Bogdan, Haxon, Lennon, Holm, Duarte, Lopez, and Gardner. So that is about an 8-car train. So that's but you see here Fernandez is really starting to pull away. So it's quite intriguing. So whilst we can concentrate on the action, I'm going to pull away for a second because we have got one of the men involved in that accident earlier on. That's Adrian Cantford. Adrian, sorry to hear that, of course, you're out of the race already. Just talk us through what happened from your point of view, because it looked like an absolute mess down at the underneath the bridge.
Oh, it's terrible. There was like, I'm not sure what happened. I think it's something to do with Waring and Tvite, and there was nowhere to go for anyone. And I clipped someone as I drove through and just gave myself a puncture. So there's no point really carrying on. Just go in the pits and watch the rest of it.
Oh, come on, real men race with punctures, Adrian.
Nah.
I'm kidding. Really sorry for your luck. Waring clipped the tire barrier as Tvite lost control, shot across, and I think he collected about 4 or 5 guys. So really unfortunate for you.
Yeah. Did you see what happened at the first lap when I got pushed on the grass as well? I didn't know what happened there.
We did not. We were following up front. We had, because we're just following the championship battle, which we probably should just give a quick update to the viewers on. Thanks for stopping by, Adrian. Appreciate you coming in and letting us know what happened. Strawn is now 4.2 seconds back of the championship contender Chris Butcher, who is having a flawless race at the moment. Doesn't seem like he has an answer for what Butcher is putting out here today. John, you had some numbers for us, right? So if I remember correctly, if Chris wins this race and Strawn finishes in 4th, and this exact same result happens again in the second race, Chris Butcher is champion by 1 point, correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically I'm struggling to keep up with the action here due to hotel connection, but I'll manage to keep you up to date with the championship standings. And as it looks, if it does finish the way it is, which is looking quite likely for Chris at the front and Eric in 4th position, I'm sure Alex won't attack Chris, and Eric's got a big enough gap back to Ryan Callum behind him. Basically, it's all going to come down to race 2, and if Chris Butcher wins race 2, if Eric Strana finishes 4th, loses the championship by 1 point. If Strana finishes 3rd, he wins the championship by 1 point. This is, of course, provisionally with penalties and incidents still to come, so massive up for, drama here in the championship, and if it finishes the way it is, it's going to be an incredible finale.
Definitely. It's looking exciting. I mean, Scott, we've got the battling is kind of settled down up at the front for this particular our championship battle, but it doesn't mean that there's not racing going on. But maybe we should just give a quick rundown to the rest of the guys. We haven't given some time to. Jimmy Hughes, as you said, Scott, was rounding up that last group, who's now broken away and caught up to this other pack. So Jimmy Hughes 16th, Xavier de Carvalho at 17th, Pedro Amaral 18th, Matt Richards in 19th, David Carter 20th, David Nennan in 21st, Lewis McGlade in 22nd in a tight battle with David, Thomas Mataszewski in 23rd. I cannot see his name. What is it? I can't read it. It's a little blurry.
I choose Razvan.
Okay, what he said. And Rob Taplin in 25th.
struggled for that one for years, Keith, don't worry.
It's okay. I've been butchering names since TPS started. Clint at 26, David Yunton 27th. As we just catch him, looked like he was in the tire barrier there, but Chris Shepard is DNF'd. Adrian Camfield, who we did speak with, and I'm sorry if I called you Adrian Campbell. It's my bad. Andrew Waring in 30th. Peter Duvalar in 31st as a DNF. Miguel Nato, and our last DNF was Scott Sovic. But what do you think is going to happen here with this championship battle? Because now Lauritsen and Patrick have caught up to Butcher. Scott, what do you think?
Well, as we continue looking at that, I want to quickly have a word with the other man that's joined us in the commentary box. He was one of the main protagonists in that incident, Andrew Waring. Andrew, it seemed to be going off for quite a few laps between yourself and Eric, but just talk us through from your point of view how that all came around. It looked as though it kind of, you two had a bit of quite a fight up at the front, which unfortunately ended in yourself out of the race and Eric still out there racing.
Yeah, I understand. You know, I was trying to get by Eric Strane for the longest time. I wasn't trying to be too aggressive with him. He's in the fight with the championship. I'm not looking to take him out at all or anything. But then Eric got involved and got in front and basically did his job as an ICR teammate to hold the rest of us up and let Eric get away. And, you know, eventually I just had enough being turned into, sent him wide in turn 1. Cal and I split him going into 2. And then I don't know really what happened for the rest of the lap, but it was just a lot of hitting, and then I found myself looking at an angled wall that sent me right in front of everyone. I mean, I'm sorry if I ended out anyone's races, which I'm sure I did, but it was really aggressive racing from Eric, me, and pretty much everyone in that group.
Well, you're it was very aggressive. It was tight. There was some three wide going into some places it shouldn't have been, trying to fit something in. It's like putting a square into the circle hole. But Tveit had caught the curb, got sideways, and his back end clipped your passenger door, and that's what put you wide. I mean, that's what we could see in the replay, obviously. But unfortunate. Yeah, you were sporting the Villeneuve flag, and it was a bit of a Canadian sandwich there with a little bit of Tveit in the center. And well, we still got one more race to go, though, right, Waring?
Yeah, trust me, it'll be back, and you know, if consolation's anything from this race, I'm sure I'll be going for everything.
All right, well then you just need to settle down, sir. You go in one direction, that's forward, not into walls.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the racing. Butcher now is under some heavy pressure, but he has Lauritsen on his 6, which is exactly what he needs. So Butcher clearly, if there's something that can be taken away from this race for Strachan, is that Butcher's pace falls off near the end of the race, and that clearly is what's happened. Look at his lap times, Scott. I mean, if you've probably been keeping a close eye, but this could probably give some insight to Strachan for his strategy for the next race.
Well, quite possibly. I mean, he's currently in 4th place, but you have to remember, of course, looking at what was going on before, the likes of Waring and Tveit were on the pace and giving Strachan, of course, the concern. So they were able to run the same kind of lap times and same kind of speed that Strachan was able to achieve. So we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out, and of course if Waring and Tveit are able to last longer than a few laps and keep away from each other in that second race, depending on where they qualify. Speaking of Tveit, he's dropped all the way down to 16th place. He was 7th, but he's dropped all the way down, so who he's pitted to, he can't be pitted, he must have had a mistake of some kind.
He went off again, I believe, Scott.
Okay.
Apparently he has gone off somewhere, so we'll have to wait and see. So of course Tveit has dropped back, of course not really giving the Strachan all the support he needs, of course, but I think he's just trying to see this race out, to see exactly how that's going to play out, and wait for race 2, where it's going to all come incredibly crucial. Of course, we're getting to a real proper touring car season finale, like we get with the BTCC, when it all comes down to everyone trying to work the championship out and trying to see how it all goes on. And just behind, we've got a great scrap going on between what looks to be David Carter with Javier de Carvalho, who's dropped down to the field, and also Matt Richards. And Richards and Carvalho are going at it hammer and tongs as Carvalho gets into the side and says, "Get out of it, Matt, come on, I want to get in front of you." And also just in front, Tveit losing another place, because that's Pedro Amaral getting around him. So the fact that that's actually Tveit trying to get through him, I apologise on that one. So there's a great scrap going on between these two. Tveit's trying to get up the inside, still some pace left in that ice cold car, despite the fact it doesn't look like it with all the damage it's sustained. Hughes is now giving Adrian Holmes some cause for concern, as is Reece Gardner on the back of his teammate Ben Haxton, although I'd say it's less concern and more just formation flying for these two. And then just in front, of course, we've got Ben Haxton in another, of course, Duarte Lopez is now in 11. 10th is now Gary Lennon rounding out the top 10. 9th is now Karamadaru Bogdan having a great run in one of the first few races he's done for quite a while.
And racing in his socks. Apparently he races in socks and only socks. That's what he has informed a number of us, and it's quite scary thinking about that, and it might be why people are getting out of his way.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Just kind of like just out the way. I don't want to get rear-ended by somebody who's driving in just their white socks.
I race in socks. Maybe that's why I went wrong at Salzburg.
Oh, they are racing socks.
Yes.
Extra slippery. You don't see Marcus Schumacher. Oh, let's not mention that. Sorry, Marcus Schumacher. that was the wrong driver to refer to. Of course, get well soon, Michael. Of course, hopefully he does get better. But let's see Lewis Hamilton doing that sort of racing around in socks. But 7th Oscar Hardwick. Of course, again, not we talk about him too much, but he's the highest placed. Small power car. Reese Muller, not exactly on the pace, but in 6th, not championship winning pace that he had last season. Callahan having a great run in 5th, obviously inspired by the spirit of Jacques Villeneuve, which he probably says to me that of course end of that race he'll complain like hell that the car wasn't proper. Or
that's right.
He'll complain about something. Quite possibly. Eric Strana, crucially in 4th, and at the moment it's enough for him to keep in the championship lead at the moment, but we're on to the penultimate lap, on lap 16 of 17. And Patrick now doing incredibly well to not only hold on to the back of the 2 THR, but to even keep pace with them and run at a pace that's stronger than Strana. So unless Strana's just saving himself for this second race and just not pushing too hard, try not to make too many mistakes and just getting it to the end, running at a pace that's good enough to get him into 4th position, maybe that's enough, because he's got a 2-second gap over Callan. And unless Strana really backs up, which I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure he's not prepared to do it at this point. Callan's not going to catch up in time, and of course Wiesemuller's way back as well, so he's not really troubling Strana at all. So Butcher is in a perfect position. As you said, Lauritsen is acting as his rear gunner, and Patrick just there along for the ride in 3rd place and doing incredibly well, which is certainly going to cause a lot of teams other than Campfield Racing sit up and take notice if they should want another driver for any of the Summer Championships.
Well, Patrick's done an incredible job coming into this championship. I mean, relatively unknown racing. I mean, I don't think I have not had the pleasure of commentating with Patrick in a field for me, but I mean Lauritsen and Butcher, and he's surrounded by some pretty big companies. Only competed in 3 races, all in this mini championship, but taking a 2nd in the last round. But to come in amongst the talent that does sit in Touring Pro Series like Butcher, Lauritsen, Strana, Callan, Wiesemuller, surrounded by champions and race winners, and to be running there and being at the pace of these guys, it's a pretty good sign that we can expect to see double P up front for the foreseeable future.
I mean, the thing about Paul Patrick, I was on my own at Velo Park. That was the one race that I was running solo, and Paul Patrick was making his debut, of course, along with Campfield. Yeah. Campfield going on to take a double win. But Patrick, I saw he's definitely not afraid to stick his nose in it with the big guys. He was fighting with Chris Butcher. He's definitely no love lost between the two of them, so we could see him get a bit aggressive on this last lap, but with the championship in mind, I'm not sure he will, but he definitely showed he can, be aggressively defending, aggressive but clean, of course. But he did make some exciting moves and caused a bit of controversy because he did have an accident as well, so maybe not the kind of guy that these guys will want behind them in 3rd.
Hey, well, I mean, we've got one more race to go, and he could be part of that deciding factor, and I know that when you're racing for yourself, you don't want to put someone off, obviously, but you're not going to say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to pass you because I don't want to mix up the championship. Real racers do not put that in their mind. If you've got the opportunity to make that pass and you could do it cleanly without putting the driver off, you're taking it. You got to take it because, those opportunities are few and far between when it comes down to racing. But we have now almost completed this race, and looks like Chris Butcher should be able to close this one out. And both your guys' prediction of Lauritsen getting by early, I mean, you guys are right on the ball.
Absolutely. So Chris Butcher's done everything right. He hasn't put a wheel wrong in this first race. Lauritsen's going to get close and being there on support. He can go into the final race knowing that he is possibly one more race victory away from taking that first TPS title. Out of the final corner, Butcher takes race 1 at Mid-Ohio. That could be crucial for the championship. Lauritsen grabs 2nd, Patrick gets 3rd, Strana's crucially 4th, and we know if that happens again with Butcher winning and Strana 4th in race 2, Chris Butcher will finally get that first TPS championship. Callan's holds in 5th, a great result for him for walk racing. Wiesemuller is in 6th, finishes in 6th place. And we wait for Oscar Hardwick in 7th for Team Smile. Smile powers Luis Fernandez in 8th. And then Karamadaru Bogdan just winning in front of, as I look on the screen, of Gary Lennon. Duarte Lopez is 11th. and Reese Gardner 12th, Ben Haxon 13th, Adrian Holman 14th, and Jimmy Hughes in 15th. And what's crucial, no Eric Tavine in sight whatsoever. He's not in the top 15, not in the top 20 even. So possibly he had some trouble in the last couple of laps and maybe even retired. But he'll be back for the second race, as will everyone else, and as will we after this quick break. We'll see you back in 2 for the final round of the Virtual Mini Challenge here on Touring Pro Series.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to live coverage of this, the final round of the 2014 Touring Pro Series Virtual Mini Challenge. And we are here at Mid-Ohio, not at Tarooma as the screen suggests, but we're here at the final round at Mid-Ohio. And more importantly, we have an updated championship standing so we can tell you how the championship looks coming into this final race. And here it is. So, Eric Strana has a 6-point advantage, just 6 points. And like we said, I'll get the thoughts of John so he can talk about this in a second. If the result is exactly the same for Butcher and Strana as it was in race 1. So Butcher wins and Strana is 4th. Butcher wins the championship, as we've calculated, by 1 single point.
No pressure.
So no pressure for either of them. So, but yeah, John, let's get your thoughts on this one. You've been trying to work out the championship. Now it's currently on the screen. How do you see that? Of course, it's quite intriguing. We've got quite a few battles down in the top 10, so there could be quite a change in certain positions. But of course, it's right at the top where we're focused. 6 points separate Strana and Butcher. This is going to be an electric final race, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thankfully for us who aren't quite advanced mathematicians, we can quite easily keep an eye on this one because, of course, there's a 6-point gap between the top two in the championship, so there's a few kind of different predicaments. Basically, if Eric Strana beats Chris Butcher in this race, as you all know, he will be champion. This is, of course, all provisional, I should point out, so there could be incidents and penalties, but in that first race, it looked like both of them had a completely clean one, so if they keep it the same in race 2, it should be the deciding points total. So basically, if Chris Butcher wins, Eric Strana needs to be 2nd or 3rd, so Eric's going to need to stick on Chris's back, if not beat him. And basically, if Chris Butcher finishes 3rd in this one, Eric Strana will need to score 19 points. If Eric Strana finishes 6th and scores 19 points, they will be level on points, where therefore the championship will go down to victories. And that's one thing I've forgotten to work out. So there's something we'll be able to work out even up to the end of the race. And the final thing is, if Eric Strana retires from this race, so if he gets caught out in an incident or anything like that, all that Chris Butcher needs to do is pick up a 14th or better to guarantee the title going to him. So there's many different situations, and we'll keep you updated during the race on who's where and how it's going to affect the championship.
Well, this is it's going to be a pressure cooker for Chris, because in past we've seen championships where the pressure is on a driver to hold a position, to be there, but he has to perform. This isn't a matter of him, I need to finish in 3rd or better, or 4th or better, or 6th or better, anything like that. He needs to not only win the race, he needs to hope that Strana is not on his bumper at the end of the line. So if he does everything right and he gets out front and he is leading this race, there's still a chance that there's nothing more he can do to win this championship. So those kind of things, that's what racing's all about. You get yourself in that position. He's here. He's now got a chance to win this championship, but he must win this race.
Here's something interesting, guys. What I found out, if neither of the drivers actually win the race, say for example, Chris finished 3rd and Eric picked up enough points to make them level in the championship, they've each won 5 races. So it's going to be probably the closest championship in history and will ever occur in the Touring Pro Series. But that only occurs if neither of them win a race and it goes level on points.
Well, it'll go count back on 2nd places, so we need to look at these statistics and see who's had more 2nd places.
I will look into it.
Our crack team of reporters is working very hard on finding out exactly every scenario possible here. But you're right, though. This could very well go down as the closest championship in the history of TPS. However, we still have 17 laps of racing, a qualifying to do, and we've seen some crazy stuff happen over the years here at Touring Pro Series. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this goes. As you can see, this is like the dance. Everyone's out trying to figure out where they're going to be. We got to figure this out. But we should probably focus on, let's get back to, there's Lauritsen, there's Hardwick. I want to get on board with either Butcher or whoever we get to first. Callan into the wall. Look like Callan on the wall. There's Chris Butcher. We need to know if Butcher's going to be able to get himself another pole position. You see it. See, this dance of everyone trying to use a draft and teammates trying to line up. This track is not very conducive to that kind of stuff because of how narrow it is and the fact that there is really only one solid racing line around here. So we're going to need to see Butcher get a banker lap in, but we've already wasted almost 2 minutes of qualifying with this little dance they're trying to put on.
Just to round off the championship, guys, just quickly, to explain basically what will happen. If these guys are level on points, Chris Butcher would be champion on count back of 2nd places because Butcher has had 3 and Strana's had 1. And of course, even if Strana did get 2nd place in this, that's still going to be less than 3. So Basically, the situation is Strana needs, if he wants to win this championship, to beat Butcher by 1 point or more. He cannot be level on points. So Butcher basically just needs to level up the points, and he will win the closest championship in TPS history on going back to 2nd place.
Wow.
So, this, of course, it's all to play for, of course, as we said, it's been laid out. Of course, our crack team of experts, i.e. just John, when he's done a cracking job.
I'm going to sleep now. See you guys later.
You're not going to get off that lightly. We need you for the rest of the race. So. Hotel connection or not, we need you for this one. So, already, I was getting a bit hair on now. We're seeing now that Chris Butcher now is getting the classic tone. What's incredible is that THR have 4 cars in a row here. As we see Butcher's, when he's moving out, I think he's just giving a chance for. I was Butcher at the head of the field. What am I doing? I thought it was Beeson at the back, but it's not. It's in fact Butcher at the head of it. So he's now leading the train with Lauritsen in tow. We've got one of the, I think it's Madazewski going off in the background as well, going wide, as he's now allowing, I think that's Wiesenmuller and Cavalli going side by side on their laps.
Well, here's the funny thing is we're now 3 full minutes into this qualifying session, and we're just seeing the first laps put up. So this can really tell you the games that are being played out here on such a short track. As Holm is now provisional 138.6, which will not be the pole. Butcher is currently a 10th up on him. Butcher, we're going to need to see some low 38s here, but I mean, this qualifying for Strawn is probably more important than it is for Butcher, because Butcher, I think, has a little bit more pace at the start of the race, and he has Lauritsen there to work with him, and Lauritsen seems to be working as a very, very good team. And as Lauritsen goes provisional pole at a 138 flat, what a time.
Fantastic stuff then from Lauritsen to once again stick it on pole position, and now it's role reversal this time, as we've seen before. Butcher now gets the chance to grab a tow from his teammates, as Tveit goes to second at 138, 108, crucially just faster than Strana.
Okay, so let's see what Butcher. Okay, Butcher's now trying to get his lap. He's got Lauritsen in front of him for a tow. Strana has actually improved his qualifying time from the last session, so at a 138.169. I think Strana's the one we're going to need to worry about as to where he's going to be starting.
Looking down, P16, Callan's up in sector 1 by a 10th, so he's actually trying to get himself up to the front of the grid. And Butcher, look at that, he's only 32 hundredths off, or 32 hundredths off of Lauritsen's past fastest time. I was trying to get my words out there. Lauritsen's fastest time. Now Butcher's now got him out of the way. Tveit's is gone
purple.
Sector 2.
Strawn is also personal best as well too.
Yep, Hardwick is up to 5th. Shepard's on a personal best. David Nannon's up to 12th. What incredible laps. And Nannon's up to 12th already, but
very nice.
Well, I don't think that, unfortunately, in all due respect, that won't stay there for long, I don't feel. But a great effort nonetheless to get only only just outside, a fraction outside a second of the current pole time. Butcher now, what can he do on this lap? Because he's had some lovely clear track in front of him for the whole second half of a lap that he needs.
Didn't look that good
towards the end of a lap. Goes fourth. Oh, and how intriguing is that? He puts it literally alongside Strana, so Strana and Butcher will be on row 2.
This is a story being written right here. This is the introduction, and the chapters are being written as we speak. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in qualifying, as we'll follow along with Strana and see what his strategy is, because I mean, he's in the right spot now. Lauritsen's up front. He's got a great time, but Lauritsen is a very skilled, very skillful driver, knows what to do, how to slow things down, interrupt with the pace. But Strana and Tveit are now out to try to set a lap here. If Strana could get a pole position here, how interesting would the rest of this event and this season be?
And also, what was
especially with Alex up there and Eric Tveit on the front row as well.
And also, what was key, did you see what happened, of course? Literally, the moment the Butcher finished his lap, Strana and Tveit were straight out of the pits.
Yes,
so that's timing. They know exactly what's happened. So as soon as THR have executed their plan, Ice Cold are immediately responding. They know exactly what they have to do. Of course, Adrian Holm in the 3rd Ice Cold car for this race. He's down in 12th. He's on row 6 for the moment alongside Chris Shepard. Holm's time of 38.6. Rest of the top 10, of course, if we look at it, Lauritsen's on a 38.4. Tveit a 38.1, Strana 38.1. Butcher's currently on a personal best, not the fastest time, but he is up by almost a 10th, so that time would put him...
Would put him ahead of Strana.
But still on row 2, so let's see exactly if he can make any more time in this final sector. So he heads it out of the right-hander, through the quick kink of the left, towards the start-finish line, and does he improve?
Oh, he goes to pole!
38.0!
He goes to pole! Chris Butcher,
Butcher goes pole. Now
takes
that is
the
crucial.
pole. Wow. What a final sector by Chris Butcher in a clutch position. 38.057.
And of course, look at the front row. You've got the two THR boys, followed by the two ice cold guys, and then in 5th and 6th and 7th, has to be said, completely other guys that are out there just to win the race and go for their own glory. So this, at the moment, is shaping up absolutely stunningly for the championship finale.
Look at the draft that Strawn's got now. They've timed this right, where Tveit is in just the right spot for Strawn to take advantage of this slipstream. Tveit goes out wide, going to get a better run out of that corner, as Strawn is going to be right on his bumper. They did that absolutely textbook. So if Tveit can move out of the way going into turn 4, he will have taken advantage of that full slipstream for an entire lap. And you know they're going to be communicating, as he's got purple. Perfectly well-timed, well-done teamwork.
But Callan's going even faster. He was a 10th quicker than Strana's was in Sector 1. So Callan's up by 2/10 on Butcher's provisional pole time. But it's all whether or not he can hook up that 2nd and 3rd sectors to get himself even quicker. So we'll stay with Strana, but we'll keep Callan in mind in the background. He is a couple of cars in front down the road. And Paul Patrick's
Camfield's gone purple as well, too.
But only by 2,000.
Oh,
that needs to be lost.
Strawn's messed the lap up.
Strana.
Oh, he messed it up. He lost almost 0.22 of a second that lap. But look at this. Tveit, knowing his role as the teammate here, is now moved back in front. If they can time this again, they timed that perfectly. The way that Tveit went wide, so he would get a better run off of turn 2, and allowed him to suck right up to him and then move to the inside. So they need to do this once more. They need the right gap. They got to do this. This is championship deciding stuff here for positioning on this track.
And
so
Campfield's still up by 7,000ths of a second. So Campfield could be the spanner in the works here, provided his final sector is good enough. And he was a little bit late on the brakes there.
Oh,
but
him
he
and
has
Paul.
got Paul Patrick in front of him for a tow, and he's remained in front. So that's quite crucial. Is it going to be enough to get him a tow?
Adrian Canfield,
off the front row, 5th.
No.
Just outside. He has displaced Callan, and also Waring and Dweeblar are up in the Sector 1. So this is a really high-stakes qualifying, but this is the last shot for Eric Strana. He's got one more lap in the bank. He crossed the line, but less than that, as Butcher's going even quicker. Butcher's up by 700, so he's going faster, as is Wiesenmuller. So Wiesenmuller's up by the first sector, so that's going to be key.
Oh, look at that. He's even faster
more
this time around. He's even faster. He was only 0.1114 the last time around. He's now 0.131. So if Strana can hold this together and Butcher doesn't improve on his lap, this could be the pole position and a very, very crucial spot on this track at Mid-Ohio, which is just, you can see, it's just extremely narrow. Gosh, the pressure is on Strana at this time as he gets better through there that time. A little bit wide, and he's still
up.
Oh, what a time.
He's still purple. This could be it, as Chris Butcher is still good. He's still coming around. I think Butcher is behind him at the moment, but we're going to find out very shortly if Strana is going to be able to take this pole position going into the last race of this season.
The Butcher then doesn't improve. He hasn't done it. Waring's still up in the second sector. All on Eric Strana, a clear track. Is he going to get provisional pole position for race 2?
Oh,
no,
he doesn't do it.
Can't do it. Lost it in the final sector.
Oh, but he improves. He improves just a bit over Tveit. It just shows how incredible Chris Butcher's final sector was, because he was off. He was only on a personal best, and then he trumped Lauritsen's time in the final sector alone. So that is going to do it for these guys' times at the front here. So it's going to be, as of right now, THR 1-2 and Ice Cold 3-4, with followed by Waring in 5th. I'll let you go through this, Scott.
What's intriguing, of course, Butcher starts on pole then, fractionally faster Lauritsen, but Strana, in terms of position on the road, literally starts directly behind Butcher on the second row in 3rd place with Tveit alongside. And what's incredible is that the main championship protagonists are situated on the right-hand side. As you'll see, it'll be driver's right, but of course it'll be our left on the screen. And the two kind of like backup drivers, of course the two kind of support drivers, in terms of Lauritsen and Tveit, will be situated on row 2. Now, what's going to be crucial is that if Strana can get a good enough start, we could well be seeing Butcher and Strana duke it out for the lead. But remember, of course, we can't forget that if Strana finishes 2nd or 3rd, then he will not win. He will deny Chris Butcher, and he will win the championship. Effectively, if Chris Butcher wants to finally get that first championship, effectively the 3rd time I've asked, because he's been in this position twice before with a shot at the title, but missed out just at the death. then he needs to hope that Strana has a poor start or possibly gets caught up with the likes of Waring and particularly also crucially Wiesenmuller. Wiesenmuller put in a great lap to get 6th. So if he can get a good start and find some pace in this final race of the season and get himself in amongst both the ice-cold cars and with his teammates, he could really be a spanner in the works and cause him a few more problems. So looking at the rest of the top 10... Sorry, John?
No, just on you go, Scott.
So Waring will start in 5th, Wiesenmuller 6th, Adrian Campfield was 7th. He'll start on row 4 alongside Ryan Callan. With Peter Dweevlar and Paul Patrick on row 5 rounding out the top 10. Then to quick look at the rest of the top 15, it's Miguel Neto 11th, Oscar Harvick 12th, Reece Gardner 13th, Chris Shepherd 14th, and Adrian Holm rounding out the top 15. We are set for what is set to be a sensational final race here for the TPS Virtual Mini Challenge. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to kick off this final 17 laps of this 2014 season. Stay tuned. It's going to...
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we're good.
And welcome back to the final round of the Virtual Mini Challenge here for 2014 for Touring Pro Series. Scott Woodwiss, John Munro and Keith Barrick here to go through all the action of the final 17 laps. And John, I believe you had a little something to say, so take it away.
Well, basically, you've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds of warm-up to go. Go into your cupboard, grab out the Butterkist or whatever brand of popcorn you may have, pop it in the microwave and get ready for this one, because this is going to be one of the most famous races in the Touring Pro Series history. You've got Butcher with his teammate alongside him. You know, all Chris has got to do in this race, he just has to win. He can do nothing more. And Alexander Lauritsen is there simply to let Butcher win and try and cause havoc. And this is basically the main battle. You've got 2nd to 4th place. These are going to be the vital positions in this race. If Strana finishes 4th, he's not going to win the championship if Butcher can win it. Strana has to finish in that top 3. You've got Alex Lauritsen in there basically just to mess with Eric Strana's head, and he's going to try and bring in Andrew Waring and Wiesenmuller, of course, into the fight. Robert Wiesenmuller being a THR Red teammate of Chris, he's going to be all guns blazing for Chris to win the championship. So if Robert can get a good start, he's going to be directly behind Tveit and Strana. He's going to try and take Tveit out of the game, or basically just try and get Strana pushed down as far at the grid as possible. You know, and Andrew Waring's just, as we spoke to him earlier, Scott, and you know, he was just coming in here basically saying he's going to be going all guns blazing for this last race, and who can blame him? You know, it's not you know, it's not him fighting for the championship, of course, but there's no reason why he should suddenly, you know, be driving slower or being, you know, much more careful. So he's going to be going all guns blazing. He's starting in 5th position, and he could turn out to be a key figure in this one.
Absolutely, and of course what's so key crucial, the top 8 are all formidable drivers. Butcher and Strana know they've got what's at stake. Lauritsen and Tveit will be playing a support role. Waring will be out for revenge, I'm pretty sure, as after his fight with Tveit. Wiesenmuller will be desperate to try and get on form, to try and get in amongst championship contenders to help his teammates out. And also, we can't discount both Adrian Campfield and Ryan Callan. Campfield's found some more space, especially more speed, I should say, rather than space, in that 2nd qualifying session. And Callan was quick to have to get a top 5. So there's a lot at stake here. And also, we have to remember as well is that effectively it's an end of term atmosphere, effectively. So I'm not sure we're going to be see too much clean racing, as we said. I think with all these guys, the gloves are going to be off, and literally it's going to be a case of literally, you know, let loose the dog, let slip the dogs of war with this race, because it's really going to be literally all-out attack to get as many places as they can. Butcher knows exactly what he has to do. So does Strana. So do both Lauritsen and Tveit, and Wiesenmuller for that factor, because he's up there around his teammates as well, starting from 6th. So, as we said, I really hope this race isn't an anti-climax for what we're hoping for, because this, as we said, we're saying a couple of times already, has the potential of being one of the greatest TPS races that we've ever seen in the history of the league. With the way it's set up and the way it's all played out so far up to this point, you really couldn't write the script. In fact, there was a script writing. He's certainly been out in force for this weekend, because he wrote it the past couple of races when Butcher went out, and of course he's written it again here for Mid-Ohio.
Well, this is actually going to come down to a start. If Strana can get off the line right, get on to Butcher's bumper, it's going to change the dynamic of the race. If Butcher slips up at the start, which is not a common thing for him to do. I can't remember many times in my own personal races I've watched and also ones I've commentated on where Butcher is not getting a good start. So you cannot rely on that because that's not something that's in his repertoire. But if Strana can be strong and get a good start, challenge Butcher, force him to feel that pressure, force him to now feel like, okay, there's nothing more I can do. I have to win this race. Strana just needs to be there. He's got to finish. Think about that. So a third place for Strana could wrap this championship up, but there's a lot of guys here that want to mess that up, and they not in their own way, but they want to finish better. Waring would like to finish higher up. He wants to win this race. Wiesemuller's going to want to get ahead of him because he's a teammate of the two guys up front. Camfield's not going to want to go quietly into the night. Neither will Callan. So this is shaping up, like you said. This is going to be a finish for the ages.
So, quick before the guys go off, I want a prediction, but I want it in one word. So, guys, John, Keith, in one word.
In one word?
Yeah, champion,
I think I know what's happening here.
Strana or Butcher. Go.
I'm going to go Strana.
I'm going to go with Butcher.
Ooh, bit of a split one here. I don't really want to say because effectively I want it to be
Strancher.
Yeah, Strancher.
Strancher. I think. All right. If we're going to make a prediction, I think purely because of the fact he's been there twice before and he's tried ever so hard and he's been here for a longer time. I think not that Strana is undeserving because I think he's had a fantastic run many times before and he really is in form. But I think it would really be quite a story if Chris could bring this one home and potentially, at the third time of asking, given the situation, to finally bring home that championship. He has pined for it quite a while, and it got to a point when we got the call after Taru where we heard when we spoke to him during the race, during the broadcast, that he felt quite down. He felt his championship chances were kind of on the ropes, but he did come back. He's managed to get himself within 13 points, and he has managed to get himself through. But what's incredible is that we're now on the formation lap for this final race, and what a season it's been. We kicked off all the way back, looking at our series, all the way back, if I look at the championship as to how it played out. We kicked off all the way back on the 12th of November with our first couple of races at Curitiba. Butcher took the 2 races. Then Strana struck back at Jacarapagua with 2 races there. Butcher responded with 2 more race victories at Cascavel. Then we had victories for Campfield and Waring at Velo Park. Then to Saruma, where Strana took his 3rd win of the season, and Lauritsen took a victory himself. And then Campo Grande a couple of weeks ago, and Strana made it 5 victories in a season. And now we come to a head with the final race of the season. Butcher's taken his, if I work at this right, his 5th victory of the season. So effectively, as we said, they're level on victories. It all comes down to this one here. And gentlemen, effectively, let's go to John first. John, what a season it's been. And of course, hopefully, like I said, hopefully this is not an anticlimax, but could you ever imagine that we get such a championship fight all those races ago when we started off at Curitiba? Because it's been absolutely incredible from start to finish.
Exactly. I mean, it's been one of the most enjoyable series I've had the pleasure of commentating on, and thank you, to both you guys for being there along the way. But yeah, it's, no one can predict these kind of races, and it comes down to this. But knowing how it's going to go, every single driver is going to crash and be disqualified for the championship, and David Carter's going to win. We just don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys are ready because this is going to be one hell of a race.
Oh yeah, grab yourself a cold beverage. Hang on to the edge of your
Remember
seat.
to get your popcorn out of the microwave and leave it there.
Popcorn? Oh, damn, I put it on for 20 minutes, not 2 minutes. That's why I smelled burning.
So, cars going to be forming up. We get ready for one final time for the start of the TouringProSeries Mini Challenge. Is it going to be Strana or will it be Butcher? Who will walk away from Mid-Ohio as the victor in this championship? We wait with anticipation. We get set for the lights. They'll be fixed on that gantry. The 3 red lights will come up. Here they come then, for one final time. The final race of the TPS Virtual Mini Challenge. Revs are up. Butcher on pole. Will he be champion? Will it go to Strana? Let's find out. Lights out, and we're racing for one more time.
Oh, Strana got a
look
great
at that.
start.
Strana has been boxed out by Strana and also Lauritsen, but a perfect start for Butcher. He's up into the lead. Strana trying to go around the outside. Lauritsen, he's been denied. Lauritsen in 2nd place, and Strana slots back into 3rd position. And already Waring into right, continuing their duel in the back. There's also, I think that's possibly that Callan and Campfield having a battle.
Oh,
but down towards the keyhole. Strana already attacking Lauritsen down towards the keyhole, the right-hander, and Tveit trying to go around the outside as well. He's going to try to go around the outside of his teammate. That's not exactly how it's in the script. Surely not. Tveit's almost going to go for third place. No, he doesn't, because he's now started being back behind, and now he's not going to duel with Waring. Down the back straight for the first time. Butcher really being allowed to streak away. Lauritsen second, and Strana is in that crucial third spot with Waring's got anything to say about it. He won't be there for much longer as they head down underneath the brakes. And I think also Wiesmüller's trying to get involved as well to the right-hander down the end of the back straight, and they still remain in order, although you see there that's Tveit holding off from Waring. I think he's trying to go around the outside. He might have the inside run for the next right-hander. And Tveit gets the back end out sideways and Waring's through. And also possibly Wiesmüller could be too as well. Could be a bit of contact between the pair of them. Wiesmüller, as we said, getting straight stuck in. There's a car off in the background. Possibly could be Chris Shepherd. As Wiesmüller's up the inside, that's crucial. But Tveit holds in front. That's pretty key. But Wiesmüller looks pretty racy. But already, as we said, boys, it is Butcher in the lead. Lauritsen second, but Strana third. If it stays that way for the next 17 laps, Strana's champion.
I think Tveit is going to be. Oh, look at this! He needs to get past Waring. This one.
Waring is gone. He went off into the grass, and Strana was trying to get his way around. And as he picked the lane, Wiesmüller nearly got through, but this is not good because Wiesmüller is going to be trying to squeeze through on Tveit here.
He's coming to the outside.
Oh,
it's key for Strana to run away from this battle.
Yeah, and just stay on the back of Lauritsen because that's all he needs to do is look at this.
Wide on the grass.
Wiesmüller getting a little feisty. Is now Adrian Campfield is now down the inside, 3 wide. To turn 2. This is crazy stuff here.
Campbell's got
Adrian Campfield goes by 2, goes wide, he's off. Adrian Campfield books it and then sends it back.
And then also got Ryan Callan getting involved in this one in 7th place as they head down the back straight once again for the second time. So Butcher's doing everything that he can. He can do no more than lead this race, make 10ths of a second. Lauritsen has to stay there and try and act as a rear gunner. But already Tveit has got Wiesmüller swarming over the back room, down the outside towards turn 4. Can he get a move done? Will he get the inside for the next left-hander? No, because he's been defended. Wiesmüller's not going to give it up though. Back up the inside, is there contact? Wiesmüller pushed him a little bit wide. Is he through? More contact, puts him on the grass, and he is through. And Callan's trying to get past as well. But Wiesmüller's through, a bit forceful, but he's up into now 5th position, and that is pretty crucial.
Oh, look at this.
Tveit will not be happy with that.
And Callan's through, and also Dweebler getting involved as well. Look at this, the 2 Warp racing cars working together, and Tveit somehow always is pretty dim around the outside. And look at the pack of cars behind. It's Patrick's in there, also Neto, Gardner, and Gardner's in there too at the back of it as well. A huge scrap going on for what is now 5th down to 12th. What an absolute sensational start. It's only lap 2. But Wiesmüller, and Tveit's given Wiesmüller a nudge. He's not too happy about that tactic earlier on. Lap ago. I wonder if Tveit might let emotion get the better of him. But now Wiesmüller knows what he needs to do. He needs to try and close in on Waring, and basically Waring needs to take Wiesmüller with him to close in on Strana. There's still a long way to go as we're on lap 3 of 17. But already Strana is giving Lauritsen cause for concern. And this is not the ideal position because Wiesmüller needs to be turning up the pace, but he can't do it if Tveit's swarming all over the back of him as they head into the keyhole for the 3rd time. So Wiesmüller holds on, but it's crucial that he tries and pulls away and tries to go for Waring, who himself is trying to close in on Strana, who is giving Lauritsen some major cause for concern.
Strana is doing exactly the right thing here. He is not letting Lauritsen get away. Butcher is not getting away from Lauritsen. Just stay there. And you know what? The problem is if Lauritsen begins to fall off the back of Butcher, he needs to get by. Has to. If Lauritsen starts to impede his progress forward, pulling away from Waring, he has to go by. There's no 2 ways about it, because all it's going to take is a little incident, Waring to go in between him and Strana, and get ahead of Strana, and that's championship right there. Because Wiesmüller is the next man back, and that is another THR driver. So early on, this is looking good for Strana, but it's really gotta play out right for him.
As predicted, the 2 most influential men on this championship, apart from the 2 protagonists themselves, are going to be Andrew Waring and Alexander Lauritsen. Waring has got to close in on Strana, for Butcher's sake, and Lauritsen, and also for Butcher's sake, has got to defend from Eric Strana, hold him up, and bring him into the clutches of Andrew Waring and Robert Wiesmüller, or simply just battle him to the ground. And that's Alex's job, and I'm sure he'll be able to do that well. So, just because Strana's, a long way up in 3rd at the moment, does not mean anything is secure so far.
Looking at it, I mean, the gap is now 2 points. He's now looking at, I'm trying to work it out myself, it's 1.9 seconds between Strana and Waring. And Waring himself is 2.6 behind leader Chris Butcher. As we continue to look at this scrap between Wiesenmuller, Tveit and Callan, who fancies to go up the inside of Tveit. Tveit's getting a little defensive, and they're almost going to go 3 wide again in towards the keyhole. And Callan has got the inside right, he's pushing one. Wiesenmuller's got even wider, they'll go 3 wide on the exit, and Callan says, thank you very much, I'll take 2 places in 1 move. Great job from Callan.
Yeah, Eric Tveit is really under a lot of stress here. Duivelar's down the inside of him. Duivelar looking to go by Eric Tveit down to the inside here, and he's going to do it. He's long by him going into turn 3. Oh, look at this. Who's that done? Is that Callan holding him up the inside? Tveit trying to squeeze by Wiesenmuller, and because of that train on the inside that slowed down, Callan was defending so heavily. Duivelar was not able to complete the pass that he was clearly by Eric Tveit. Eric Tveit now still battling hard, trying to squeeze by Wiesenmuller. Not going to happen quite yet, but up front here, look at this. Strana's doing exactly what he needs to do. Race ends next lap. This is Chris Butcher finishing 2nd in the championship. Waring in a lonely 4th, followed by Callan. And Callan is in 5th, holding off Robert Wiesenmuller, followed by Eric Tveit, which is followed by Peter Duivelar. Paul Patrick, who had a much better race in the first one, is now sitting a little just in behind this train here, trying to close in so he can get a little bit of racing action going on. But we'll pull back a little bit. Miguel Nato in 10th, Reese Gardner in 11th. Much better run for him here, almost approaching the top 10 and seeing some cars ahead. This could very well be a possibility as Reese Gardner's right on the back of Miguel Nato in the slipstream, looking down the inside into turn 2. Reese Gardner, Miguel Nato chops off the front, uses the grass, and Reese Gardner's going to go through and book it for a top 10 running position as Oscar Hardwick follows through with it. Reese Gardner to 10th.
And I'll tell you something as well while you're doing that. I saw a momentary change for second. It was between Larison and Strana. Strana's still behind, but he's attacking hard, trying to go down the outside. Larison, is he going to be later on the brakes into turn 4? Larison has the inside run, but can't get it done this time. No, Strana has to think again and try and get it done around the outside. But there was a momentary change for second place between these two. So Strana's winning racing, but look behind. Look who is really closing in. So this is quite crucial because Larison is playing a perfect role. Not only is he letting Butcher get away, he is allowing Strana to be held up, and also allowing Waring to come back into this, because look how much he's closed in. And remember, if Waring gets past Strana, if he's allowed to get past him, and it stays like that, of course, Butcher wins the title by 1 point, because of course, Butcher needs Strana to be 4th or lower to secure his first TPS title. Strana will get it if he stays where he is, but at the rate where he's closing in, that may not be so simple. May not be simple as that.
Wow, it's a little sneaky. Lawrenson all of a sudden loses his pace because I don't think Strana was really attempting to make a pass. I just think this is a tactic that Lawrenson is using, that Chris is saying, hey, look, you know, make it look like you got a race, or you're slowing down, or drop a wheel or something. Get some action going on with you and Strana, because a third is not going to win the championship for Butcher. He almost needs to put Strana back to 4th. It's a little cheeky, but I mean, in racing, this is a team championship. There's teams that are running out here, so you have to give that consideration. But Alexander Lawrenson doing a phenomenal job as a teammate here, running with Chris Butcher, as Waring is now within 9/10 of a second of this, as Lawrenson is almost automatically defending, knowing that will slow their progress both down, because it's very difficult to go around the outside into turn 4 here. Oh, he looks like he's got some overlap as Lawrenson squeezes him just a little. This is going to be really frustrating Eric Strana, because there's nothing he can do unless he can get by cleanly. He's looking at a very tight race of defensive driving from Alexander Lawrenson.
This is shaping up absolutely perfectly for the title. You know, Alex has got to slow down and hold up Eric as much as possible. Look in Eric's shoes, Eric has got to get past Alex, because Alex, of course, is going to be holding him up, and brings Andrew Waring right into the equation. So this is shaping up absolutely beautifully. We still have 11 laps to go, so there's a lot of time for mistakes to be made, for Alex to, you know, just slow down and hold up Eric as much as possible. But there's also a lot of time for Eric to make this move. And what we could end up having, you know, is a long car train for second place, which could see Strana finish anywhere in this. Butcher just needs to keep his head down and keep on doing what he's doing at the front.
I don't know why, but I'm getting visions of BTCC Silverstone 1992. I'm just thinking there's going to be some kind of major incident, like Soper Cleland-esque incident that's going to happen possibly between these two. The fact that Lawrence is playing the role of Sofa, he's not in the championship, but of course he's there to try and...
Oh, I say he looks down the inside. Go to the inside now. That's where you got to do it. Just force the issue and say, look, I've had enough of your games. I would just get up there, 2 wheels on the grass, and just say, look, Lawrenson, quit screwing around. This is my championship. Make a stand. We will not go quietly into the night.
Well, if he's going to try and make it done, he has to try and get on the outside, but full enough to get himself far enough alongside on the exit of the corner to make a move. And here he comes again for the third time.
What he's doing here.
The outside.
I like what he's
much closer this time.
He's widening him, but that's the problem, is that you cannot, it's so difficult to hold the outside here, because now look, he's right there, and the crossover never works coming out of turn 4. It just does not work. He's going to need, if he's going to make this move happen, from a driver standpoint, which I used to be at one point many moons ago when cars had stone wheels, I would be going.
Has it been that long?
What I would do is I would do a fake out where I'd get a run, pretend to go to the outside into turn 2, and then just jam the car up the inside where you've got 2 on the grass, 2 on the pavement, and say, look, enough is enough. I'm going by. The problem is Lawrenson has the pace to pass him back, and this is where I think Strawn is thinking that if I force a move, he's going to force a move, and then this could become an entire mess. And Strawn does not want a mess. Waring's closing, but look at who is behind. Callan and Mueller are closing as well. This is just, Butcher's probably loving this at the moment.
Absolutely, this is an absolutely fantastic run. Strawn again having another peek up the inside at turn 1. I wonder if he's going to try this tactic. He'll try and set it up the inside or the outside somewhere. There's a chance, but of course Strana has to know exactly where he can take risks and where you have to sit
this
back.
This is where I do it.
I
jam it right up the inside.
Here he comes.
That's where I do it, right there.
Outside again. Is he far enough alongside? No, Larratt's is good enough at defending that inside line, and Strana and Waring is just getting closer and closer every single lap, and he's bringing the motley crew behind him with him. Of Callan and Mueller and Tveit and Dweevla and all these guys behind, as again for the 4th time. Here comes Strana to the outside. Would he be able to get done this time? Under brakes. Lupson will pull across.
Oh, he's got overlap.
He's left too much room.
He's got
the inside line.
Oh, he's not going to do it.
And keeps him front.
Strawn is playing it very safe.
Look at Waring. Look at Andrew Waring. Because of that move, he is now right on the back bumper. This is absolutely perfect for Butcher. If Waring can throw himself into the mix and throw it up the inside and cause Strawn some problems, that will be plain sailing for Chris Butcher if he can get himself into 4th. But it's easier said than done. And of course, remember,
and look at the train. Look at the train that is coming right now. This is Callan, Mueller, Tveit,
it's incentive to go faster.
Patrick.
You know, the thing is, that what's so crazy about tonight, something strange must be in the air, because this race is running by the book. You know, you've got Strana either finishing 3rd or 4th, with Butcher running away in both races exactly as predicted. Something really weird is happening here, guys.
Yeah, I know. Usually the commentator's curse comes into effect. Dweevlar sets the fastest lap of the race.
What a lap that is, so 38.1.
So this is to me, this is my opportunities here. You've got a gap, fake to the outside, let him move up the track, and jam it up the inside right now. That's what I'd be doing.
I think Alex is too clever for that, though.
Yeah.
I don't think Alex would move to the outside.
Waring is going one direction, and that's into the double trap.
Oh, Andrew Waring, what on earth were you doing? He was just, he's like Top Gear, ambitious, but just incredibly
let's have a look and
move.
see what he was thinking.
Oh, just straight up the outside.
Oh, you know what? He just created a new TPS segment. You want to know what it's going to be called? What was he thinking?
Yeah. Here comes Strana again. 5th time lucky, maybe this time.
He's got overlap.
I think he's got it this time.
He's got him. He's got him.
Great.
Strana, dude, 2nd place.
And he's done it.
Book it.
And suddenly it's looking up for the Swede.
Behind? Was there some contact? No, yeah, it was. Callan's off on the grass behind. Callan
what has happened back here?
And
Dweevlar threw on Tveit.
Dweevlar and Tveit are still side by side as they head up towards the chutes.
Well, we got to get back to Strawn and see what's happening here. This is the championship battle. I don't mean to break away from that, but this right here, as long as Mueller cannot close, it doesn't matter where either of these guys finish, as long as there's no contact and there isn't an incident between the two of them, which we would not want to see. We want to see this end in a very clean manner, because even though they are teammates, you race hard, but you race clean. As now looking down the inside, Lawrenson's going to try to force the issue, and this is where This gets a little sneaky because Lauritsen is going to try to force him into a mistake and maybe make him go wide. And this is, as long as it stays contact free, it is hard racing. And this is what Lauritsen is there to do, is to race Eric hard and try to force him into making that mistake and throwing his championship away. Oh, he gets into the back of him. Oh.
Scott, you could not have been more right earlier when you were talking about the BTCC finale. You know, you've got your Chris Butcher being Tim Harvey, having passed the two of them. Yeah. You've got Strana as your John Cleland trying to hold on. Lauritsen, who's not in the championship fight, being Steve Soper, is going to be the guy that can muck this up for him.
Oh, look at this. So Stran's now taking over the role of Lauritsen, holding him to the outside.
Here he comes.
Oh, can he repeat Strana's move?
I think he
can. On the inside line for the next corner.
Oh, he's taking his own medicine.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Oh, they're side by side.
Lauritsen's going to try and get no,
not quite. He's not quite going to do it. Side by side. Great racing. I'm very impressed with this between the two of them. But this is what is needed for Riesenmuller to close that gap within the next 7 laps to get to the back of these guys and be the pick that's going to cause this championship to work in THR's favor. Well, I don't want to break away from this for too long because I think Lauritsen's going to continue to try to break Eric Strana. I think that's what's going on here. He's like a wild horse he's trying to tame. But let's just have a quick look and see what happened back here. Patrick made his way up. Tveit is into 5th. Tveit up to 5th. Oh, that's good. That's very good.
That was a result of everything that happened with Weaver and Callan and everything that was going on behind. So that was kind of almost inevitable. We're still watching this battle, which is just hammer and tongs between these two. It's absolutely incredible. And we're watching here. Let's see if Lauritsen's going to try any move up towards the keyhole here. Turn 2. There's a straight run down towards the 180-degree left-hander. Pulls to the outside. He closes up to try and make a move. And he might try to switch back if he's careful, because Strana will not allow that car to drift out wide, but he might do it on the exit because, let's see, now Strana will probably go immediately to the right-hand side of the track and defend the inside.
I think he'll wait until he gets close enough to him with the draft so that he can break his run up, because you got to wait till just the right moment to break that momentum. As they look at this,
he
can't separate them at all. As he pushes them a little wide, Lauritsen's gone very, very deep.
Oh, what a move!
He's gone so deep, he's wide.
No.
Lauritsen's off the track.
It was so predictable.
And that could have just decided the championship right there. That move from Lauritsen, he possibly could have just denied Butcher, his teammate, the chance of winning the title. That could possibly have just fallen.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look one more time, and let's see what it looks like on board with Alexander Lauritsen, as he's literally right up underneath the back of him. As he goes to the outside, he just goes in so hot, gets to the apex, and he's got too much momentum.
And
I think what Lauritsen, the mistake he made there was trying the same move, you know, another lap in a row. We've seen that move made once or twice. You need to think outside the box, especially in a situation where you need to get past the man. And I think Alex was just being too predictable there, and he knew he had to go even later on the brakes to make it stick. And that one mistake could have just handed the championship over to Strana, even though it looked so doubtful a few laps ago.
We'll have to wait and see now, because Lauritsen, of course, has got enough pace, so it might not all be over because he's got enough time to close in. Meanwhile, speaking of closing in, Tveit has now really closed the gap on the other THR Red Machine of the reigning, well, the soon-to-be not reigning champion Robert Riesenmuller in 4th place, not on the ultimate pace. But the thing is now, Lauritsen finds himself 1.3 seconds behind Strana. Now, I think on ultimate pace, Lauritsen is quicker, but in these next 5 or 6 laps, just how much of the ultimate pace are we going to see from Lauritsen, mistake free of course, to close in and potentially cause a problem for Strana once again? Because you see Tveit, looking back now from the Riesenmuller's car, Tveit's not closing in too quickly. He's just trying to close the gap a little bit more as they head into turn 4. And the pack behind them are still scrapping amongst themselves quite frantically. That's the likes of Dweeblar and Waring and Hardwick all getting involved.
Well, look at this back here. There's Peter Dweeblar is set wide. Did he get a nudge there? It looked like
I think he did, and that's allowed Hardwick down the outside.
Yeah, so let's have a look on board with Dweeblar. Let's look on the back of him as this is Andrew Waring.
Oh yeah,
he had overlap. I think he just tried to turn and take the corner and wasn't aware of how much overlap was there. But still some hard racing, some good stuff we're seeing here.
And Lucas Strana right on the back of now. I think Chris Butcher, you know, might be deliberately going a bit slower, try and hold up Strana himself, and see if maybe those guys could get into it, because we could
But
see,
this is-
you know, you're
but this
out
is
and out
dangerous.
showdown, even if Strana doesn't need to finish ahead of him exactly.
But this is dangerous tactics, because of course the Butcher's leading the championship, and of course he's battling with his main rival. If this backfires, Strana will get through. I'm not saying it is deliberate tactics, but if it isn't, or if it is and it does backfire, Butcher's only got himself to blame, effectively, because he's let Strana take the victory and take the championship and take it and start with a win.
Yeah, I guess effectively he does have nothing to lose. He's allowing it to be a race between the two, in hopes that it slows him enough so that both his teammates can close up. And essentially, this is on kind of bordering on the borderline for me, because a race is a matter of, in a championship, you race as hard as you can all the time. The tactics like this, to me, get a little on the iffy side. I would never do something like this. It doesn't seem very ethical, in my opinion. That's just me personally. But this is a tactic you can use when there are teams. It is a tactic. There's no doubt about it. But for me personally, he's out front. Take your race win. Take your lumps. Championship well fought. But now, you know, effectively trying to slow your competition down. That's not what racing is.
So the two championship...
I think to be fair to Chris, he hasn't won a TPS championship in so many attempts. He wants this so desperately badly and feels he deserves it. Of course, he had that disconnection earlier on the season, and he's going to do anything he can in his powers to do it. And if he tactically drives, you know, just takes it really gently, holds his inside line, that's fair enough of him, I believe. But I do understand what you mean. Okay, it might not be straight out and out, flat out racing like it should be.
Yeah,
that would be a tactical genius bit of play if it plays off for him.
Yeah, it borders on the sportsmanship side of things, but that's just my opinion. And I mean, again, it's nothing against the rules, but you know,
there could be a change here. Sorry, there could be a change. Strong looking up the outside of Butcher, but it couldn't get it done. He's always nibbling away at the rear bumper.
Yeah,
but look at how much Lauritsen's closed in. I said Lauritsen had ultimate pace, and he really does. Because look at this, he's bringing it back to play, and Visa Miller too. Here comes Strana, the two champion contenders, almost side by side. Butcher's gone too deep. Butcher breaks himself, and Strana's through. Strana's into the lead.
Seems almost too easy. Seems almost too easy.
Here we go.
Seems almost too easy in my opinion.
And look, also, quickly, Visa Miller's fourth, and look who he's bringing with him. So Vite's coming into this. This is set to be a grandstand finish to the championship, boys.
Well, we got
it's
3
definitely
laps.
not over and done with yet.
No, we got 3.5 laps to go. That move almost seemed a little too easy. It looked like Chris had kind of moved out of the way just a little too easy in my opinion. It didn't seem like he outbraked himself. But I think perhaps maybe he's hoping he can get in line with Alex and possibly get by and force him into a little bit of a mistake. But Chris playing the tactical side of things here, and now this does give him an opportunity to potentially win, because he's now back on pace, running proper lap times as he's in behind Eric Strana now.
I don't know something, but something tells me this is not. There's a small doubt at the back of my mind that maybe this isn't this is not exactly tactical. But yes, it's brought Lauritsen back into play, but in Butcher, like I said, that pass looked all too easy. So I don't know, maybe Butcher just pushed a little too hard into the corner. I'm not quite sure, but we'll have to wait and see. They head on to lap 15 of 17. There is now 3 laps to go to decide this championship, and the men who are first and second in the title race are first and second in the race, with Lauritsen in third place and Visa Muller and Savite are closing in. The top 5 are separated by just under 2 seconds. Who could have imagined that on this final race of the championship, it would come down to this battle between the 2 championship contenders and the top 5? Both of the teams that were involved in the championship fight are this close between each other.
Well, this right now is where they've got enough of a gap. Lauritsen can't quite get to the back of Butcher, so he's not going to be able to help him by. Strana could actually end in a huge bang by Butcher, you know, by Butcher allowing him to get by him which is seemingly easily. As Butcher looks to the outside, down into 4,
Whoa.
trying to squeeze the issue. He's gonna.
That's a bold pass if he can do. I think he might be.
He's got it.
Here he goes.
He's gonna do it. I think. Yes.
Yeah.
That's gonna bring Alex into it as well.
Oh, and Alex is
and he's gonna bring Lauritsen with him. I think.
He's gonna hold him
get
up.
a chance to move up the inside. Yes.
Oh, look at this.
Great teamwork.
Butchers, yeah, this is teamwork at its finest. It's 2 versus 1 at this point for this championship.
Now
it is going to be 3 versus 1 if 3 versus 2 if these 2 other guys catch up.
Yeah, look at this, because now look at this. Effectively now, here comes Strana again, trying to go back up the inside of Lauritsen. They're almost going to touch, but all of this is now bringing Visa Muller right into play. And also look at that Paul Patrick in 6th that's come from nowhere, and he's closing in too. What an absolutely sensational finish. Visa Muller is right there. He's on the back bumper. one position change could swing the championship either way. We're coming on to the penultimate lap. Strana is all over the back of Lauritsen. And Wiesenmüller, of course, bringing Tveit into this. Paul Patrick again involved. The Super Six. It's Butcher, Lauritsen, Strana, Wiesenmüller, Tveit and Patrick. There is 2 laps left, boys, to settle this championship, and it's going to go one way. It'll either go Strana or it's going to go Butcher. And it's so close to call.
Well, this essentially has essentially what Butcher's strategy worked out to be was he wanted it back to where it was before Alex made a mistake, and he's got it there strategically. But now that puts Wiesenmüller in a chance to take away this championship in a little hairy way, in my opinion. I'm not sure if I agree with what's happened here.
This is going to be intriguing because Wiesenmüller's trying to close. His Strana just a little bit later on the brakes. Is he going to be able to do exactly what Butcher did to him a lap ago? No, he can't. But look at how much Wiesenmüller's closed. Wiesenmüller knows exactly. If he gets past Strana, it hands the championship to his teammate. That number 1 gets transferred to his teammate for next season. Look at this. You know that there's about a lap and a half away from the end of this championship, and no one can tell what's going to happen here. Patrick's on the back of this. This is probably the best championship finish to any sim racing title I've ever seen. There are 6 cars in a row, and effectively we know that if Wiesenmüller just is one move away from swinging this championship, he is the key man in this. Lauritz is playing his own role. Butcher's doing everything he can. He can do nothing more. Tveit's in there also. If he can be a catalyst, he'll throw himself into the mix as well. Here we go, boys. One more lap of the Virtual Mini Challenge. Is it going to be Butcher? Will it be Strana? 2.2 miles of Mid-Ohio separates it, guys. Here we go.
Well, yeah, one of these 5 guys is going to end up with less than 4 wheels on the track, I can tell.
Yeah, I can see that. I can tell you, I can almost predict what's going to happen here. Lauritsen's going to go immediate defensive. Strana's going to, he shouldn't try to pass. He should just stay right on his bumper. Wiesenmüller will go wide.
He is trying, though.
This is not good.
Leaving the door open pretty much, and if he can force it to the outside, Wiesenmüller gets his nose up the inside. Wiesenmüller might have a run here. He's tagged Strana a little bit. He's put him onto the grass. And
this is the corner.
No, he can't. All 6 of them are together. I cannot believe this. Wiesenmüller is one move away. Can he get himself up the outside? Strana's in the slipstream. Strana's in a catch-22 situation. He's boxed in by THR machines. Where's he going to go? Strana to the outside this time. Wiesenmüller, can he get himself through on the inside? They're so close. If Wiesenmüller can get himself on the grass, Strana's on the grass. So's Tveit. There's contact. Wiesenmüller can get himself up the inside. They're going to be side by side, 3 wide on the exit of the corner. And Strana can go a bit deep. Wiesenmüller's going to get through.
Oh, side by side.
This is incredible. And they're going to go through. Wiesenmüller can't do it. Strana's gone. He's hit the back of Lauritsen. Oh, and hit by Tveit sideways. Oh my goodness me. This is an incredible finish. But I think it's possibly settled. I think that's it. I think it's done. They're up towards the final corner. And we'll come to the end of it, and I think Butcher will have tried hard. Wiesenmüller will have one final attempt. Can he get himself up the inside? He's going to try with a bit of contact. I don't think he can. No, I think it's over. Butcher will come out the final corner. Butcher will win race 2, but the championship goes to Strana. Eric Strana is the 2014 Virtual Mini Challenge champion after one of the most sensational championship finishes I have ever seen in sim racing. The top 5 separated by literally 1.5 seconds, and Strana won the title technically by 0.2 of a second from Robert Wiesenmüller.
Oh lordy, Eric Strana, 331 points. No, sorry, I can't even think what this is. Chris Butcher will be on 325 points. Eric Strana will be on 326. That was absolutely unbelievable.
Could you have ever called any championship fight like that ever? That was incredible, and Wiesenmüller was so close. He was so close to pulling off that move, and it just didn't come off in the end.
Well, we're gonna have some interesting interviews with a couple drivers here. So maybe we should do some rounding up of a few drivers, get them into the booth, find out how things went, and talk to our new champion and first-time champion, Eric Strana, and see how they feel the races all went. But we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss the interviews and the conclusion to what was Scott. I mean, you've seen this all season. Just how would you describe all of this?
Epic, I think, especially that finish. I'm surprised we're almost able to think that was just mind-numbing. That was incredible. and how it all ends in effect. But once again, in many ways, you have to feel for Chris Butcher, and that's 3 times now. He's come close, but just not close enough. Just close, but no cigar. And for the 3rd time, he is the bridesmaid and never the bride. But for that man on screen, Eric Devine, he rightfully decides to celebrate with some, I think, reverse donuts on the grass. I think no, he's gone back to the pits, I think. But yeah, what we'll do, we're going to quickly get the drivers in. So I'm not sure we're going to go for a break. I think
we'll take a quick break. We'll round up a couple guys, and we'll try to get away with as many as we can before we close off this season and say goodbye to the minis for the winter season. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
So, welcome back to what was probably one of the most incredible championship finishes in TPS history. But it has been decided we do have a 2014 Touring Pro Series Virtual Mini Challenge champion. And it is the man that I'm speaking to right now, and it is young Swede Eric Strahn. And Eric, that's not a bad title, is it? How did you feel after that? Your heart must have been in your mouth in that final lap, especially, because I think at one point you must have almost thought you'd lost it.
It was more like it was actually in my knee, if anything. It wasn't in me. I know that. Yeah, that was quite an exciting end, wasn't it? I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did, I guess.
Oh, did we ever?
Yeah, we did.
Did we ever? But yeah, obviously you've come close in championships before. I mean, the last time you had came close to the championship was in the virtual minis last year. You came 3rd. What was it about this season that allowed you to go one better? Was it the form you showed near the end of the summer series, such as the Clios and the V8s, that carried you into the winter as a championship contender?
I had a lot of help from, first of all, Tom Ely. I mean, he did all our race pressures and everything, which really helped with tire wear. And then, second of all, I mean, I can't thank Eric enough. I mean, he was on the limit, and I believe he was on the limit, not over it. And I mean, he did exactly what I needed him to do, and he may have not done what I wanted him to do in race 1 by hitting a wall, but that's Eric. What do you expect?
And also looking back at your races as well, 4th in race 1, 3rd in race 2. What was the strategy? Was it just to be conservative and get the points you needed, or as you had in that second race, was it just to literally go all out and just get the result you needed at one point? Because at one point you were leading, but then you got shuffled back into the pack after both Butcher and Lauritsen got past. So, what was your main, obviously, other than winning the championship, what was your main approach to tackling Mid Ohio for this weekend?
Try like they do. That's pretty much all I had to do. I mean, if they get penalized, I get penalized. So if they don't, I shouldn't. So I mean, let's just drive like them and take the points I need, and problem solved.
Well, congratulations, Eric. Fantastic win, and you are the champion. So well done. Go ahead and enjoy it.
Yeah, I have to go to bed, so.
Well, good night
stuff.
then.
But okay, so we've heard from our new champion, Keith. I believe you got the man who again came so close, but just got beaten once again at the depth. It's Chris Butcher.
Chris, obviously 1 point separating as of right now provisionally, and you did everything you could have, and we did touch on that, talking about it, how when you're that close, you're in that position, a whole season's gone through, and you're in that position, and your job is you have to get as many points as possible, but sometimes things are just out of your control. Like, What was your mindset going into this, just preparation wise?
Obviously, I needed both race wins, so it was just practice race pace, and that's all I've done the last few days. And it paid off. I did what I needed to do. I won both races, but narrowly missed out on getting Robert ahead of Strachan, which is what I was trying to do in race 2. Out of my control, really. I mean, obviously, I've had some incidents during the season which, weren't my fault. I had the disconnection. I had NATO hitting me. I've had Toby causing an incident which put me off the track as well, which, I can't do anything about it, and made the most of every opportunity, and hopefully I'll be back next season for it.
Well, I mean, a hard-fought championship. There's no doubt about that, and I can also relate to the disconnects because I've lost the championship that way myself, and it is very difficult to take when you look at the final championship standings and you're 1 point behind when you were robbed of so many. Just one question. This is just something I was thinking about. Now, at the end of the race, there obviously your pace fell off, what it looked like, and things kind of got bunched up again. If something had happened, would that have? Do you feel that would have tarnished the championship if, say, slowing up, letting Strachan get back into the clutches of the other drivers, if he got put off or something of that, would that have tarnished the championship for you?
If he'd have got put off the track, yeah. But ultimately, Strachan had got into second place, and I needed to do that to get people ahead of him and lose him some points essentially. But I wouldn't want to lose the championship in an unfair way, so I wouldn't have wanted to see him off the track or anything like that. So yeah, it would have done if that had happened. Okay. But thankfully it didn't. Yeah,
no, I mean, that was the closest finale we've ever had ever. I mean, it was phenomenal to watch, and it ended up very clean at the end. And I mean, very, very strategic and very tactical. But I mean, you did everything you could, and my hat's off to you, man. I mean, I've watched your race for a long time, and you are due for a championship. I've said this. You've listened to me commentate about you, and I say you're due, and it's so hard when you're so close. But I wish you the best of luck in all your other racing coming up, and we still got more coming. So good job today, Chris, and tough luck.
Thanks very much.
So, quickly moving on to the man that finished in second place in both races and definitely played a strong role in supporting Chris. Let's talk to Alexander Lauritsen. Alex, coming to this race day, you knew what your role was, to support Chris and THR. And to be fair, you played it very well. Just talk us through how the races went from your point of view and how tough it was to hold off Eric Strachan in that second race.
Yeah, I did my best so Chris couldn't run the champ, but Eric Strachan was so fast in the race too, and we had a great battles, and I tried to block him on a fair way, of course. Yeah, and I make a little mistake, so I break it too late, and then he passed me, and then I come back, and yeah, it was a nice race, and it was, from my point, it was a very fair race also, so that was nice to see. So, but my speed was great. I take the pole in the first qualifying, and yeah, and second in both races, so I'm quite happy, and I think I did my best. So Chris couldn't maybe have won the champ, but yeah.
Now, in terms of the season, you did manage one race win. That was at the first race at Taruma. But you've kind of, like other drivers, you've kind of had a very on-off season where you've had occasional races, of course, with some real-world racing commitments kind of taking precedence over sim racing. But as a whole, how do you think the championship has gone, both for yourself and for THR? Because I think THR have also wrapped up with the teams championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But as a whole, how do you feel the championship's?
I think if I had drive all the races in the mini champ, and yeah, I think I couldn't have make some a greater point in the stands. Maybe also for the team champ if me and Chris was together of the start of the champ. But yeah, but I was not on all of the races in the champ, so. Yeah.
And of course, I'd say a personal congratulations for wrapping up the Virtual Supertech title as well the other weekend.
Thank you very much.
And of course, you go forwards now. So, what kind of course, with the performances you've had, what kind of confidence does that give you going forwards to the rest of the year for TPS? Of course, provided, of course, that real race commitments don't allow you to sim race at all. But how is the rest of the season looking for you at TPS in terms of your form?
I think it's looking very good at the moment. It's going very well with THR, and we work good together. And yeah, it's nice to get some good teammates we can I drive with. So that's nice. And yeah, I hope I can get one more championship in TPS.
Well, fingers crossed, and congratulations on the 2 second places today. And also, we wish you, the very, very best of luck in the VW Shocker Cup as well. Very best of that, and hopefully you can follow the footsteps of Kelvin van der Linde
Yeah,
and
I hope so.
possibly be as successful as him. But for the moment, congratulations.
Thank you.
John, I believe you have the next driver you want to have a chat to. I believe that's Robert Wiesenmuller, the other man who has just relinquished his title to Eric Strana.
Yeah, Robert, I mean, obviously it's not going to have been the best weekends for yourself. Obviously, your teammate not winning the championship and losing the reigning champions tag. So, obviously not fantastic, but I'm sure you'll be happy for Eric. But race 1, not really important in the big scheme of things, so we'll just talk straight about race 2. Obviously, you almost played the most influential part in that race, so just tell us how that happened.
And you mean in the end, on last lap?
Yeah, last couple of laps.
Yeah, well, the guys drive slow ahead of me, so I can catch up. Because we know we need to put me ahead of Strana as well, so they slow down and I drive everything, catch up, and on last lap I'm on the rear bumper from Strana. I try to make a move, but I don't want to push him off. I want to make a clean move. And then I go in one corner on the double right-hander and second sector, I go on the inside, and I think I can do it when I brake late, and then get tapped from Eric Twite and go half spin, and yeah, then in last corner I was close again, but he can just cover the inside, and I can't make a move unless I push him off, and I didn't want to do that, so yeah, no chance.
And obviously you've lost your reigning champions tag, but if there's another series of Virtual Mini Challenge, are you going to go all out for the championship, or are you going to try and venture elsewhere?
I'm not going to drive minis again. Done 3 seasons, won the title there, won Team Championship again, and yeah, that's enough.
Work is done. And
yeah, work's not really done though, because I wanted to have Chris with the title and it didn't work, and I'm very disappointed that it didn't work out in the end, but I have to say congratulations to Eric Strana.
Yeah, obviously that's understandable. And just a quick question, because this will be one of the first chances we have to talk to you before your up-and-coming championship battle. So, obviously the Virtual Touring Masters coming up next Wednesday. How are you feeling going into that? You think championship's up for grabs, or are you worried that Jesper's got it already in the bag?
It will be tough. I'm not sure how the speeds of the cars are in comparison, but yeah, in the last race I lost some points and it's not looking that good, but I'll still try, of course.
Well done to you there, Rob, and good day's work today. Unfortunately, couldn't help your teammate take that first championship, but well done nonetheless, and I'll hand you back over to Scott.
I think, as we possibly are running a little bit short on time, we'll wrap it up there, but thanks so much to all the drivers that we have spoken to, and of course, we have to say congratulations to our newest TPS champion. Of course, it's not a reigning champion, it's not somebody who's taking it a second or third. We have a brand new champion among the ranks of TPS, and it is Sweden's Eric Strana for Ice Cold Racing. I think it's also Ice Cold Racing's first ever championship in TouringProSeries. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm not as well voiced as some other people around here, but fingers crossed I've got that one right. But what a season it has been for Virtual Meets. Possibly one of the best seasons, and what a way for it to finish with those last couple of laps. I mean, John, you've been here for most of the broadcast, looking over everything and for what we've done for the minis. Just give me your final thoughts. Do you think this has been possibly one of the greatest championships the TPS has ever produced, especially with that finish? Because I mean, it was action all the way from when it went lights out for the first race at Curitiba right to the checkered flag today at the second race at Mid Ohio. Just action all the way, and what a way to finish it, and what a worthy champion.
Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect end to a fantastic season, and it really does demonstrate what TouringProSeries is all about. Clean, exciting, close action. There's a few bumps and bashes along the way, but nothing too far out of line. And that last 5 laps of the last race summed it up beautifully. It was so unpredictable. Sometimes at the start of the race we thought, oh, Chris is going to win it. Then it looked really strongly in Eric's favour, and before you know it, it's back to being Chris again. So just that last lap really did sum up everything about the TouringProSeries and what minis are about. And we've had a fantastic season, Scott. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We've had some incredibly memorable broadcasts. Obviously, I mentioned a few earlier on there, but all of them have been fantastic. There's not been a single disappointing race in this series, and it's been absolutely pleasurable to broadcast, and we're hoping for much more of the same in the future. But yeah, definitely a race and a championship fight that will go down in the realms of TPS history.
Couldn't agree more. And I have to say thank you very much, John, for all of your efforts. And I know you've got some great stuff going on in your life at the moment, which we won't talk about too much, but of course it's very promising indeed. Potentially, nothing's for certain, but we'll leave it at that. So, thank you very much once again. It's always a pleasure to commentate with yourself. And I have to say thank you to, of course, a lot of people. We have to say thank you to the likes of course, GameStop Rights and Studios for putting together a fantastic game in GameStop 2012. We haven't got to GameStop 2013 yet, but we should do hopefully in the future. Of course, we've still got a couple of championships to settle with that, and of course, with the Virtual Supertech series. I want to say thank you, of course, to SimSync as well, and to all the guys that support us here, of course, people such as Inside Sim Racing. Also, for the continued support we give to Cancer Research UK, definitely go and check them out as well. And of course, to Multi-BC to help us out with all the broadcasts as well. And to everyone, all the teams and all the drivers who have made this season incredibly memorable. It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to commentate on every single race that I've managed to get to, apart from Velo Park when I couldn't make it. But it's not over for TPS. We've settled one of our 4 championships. That is now in the history books. We still have 3 more to go. And the first of them, which is coming up with the Virtual Supertech series. We have a champion, but still one more race to go. And that is going to be this Saturday. No confirmation if it's going to be a broadcast yet or not. I don't know. But if there is, hopefully we'll be able to see that season out. Then next Wednesday, next Wednesday, it will be the season finale of the Virtual Touring Masters, and what a location to finish it off. It's going to be at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. I'm pretty sure John might be there racing in his Ford Capri, of course, but the title fight goes down between Jesper Tolborg in the Porsche and Robert Wiesenmuller in the Toyota. One of those guys will leave Mount Panorama as the champion. And then on Saturday, it's going to be the final round of our inaugural Virtual Carrera Cup. It's been so successful. Everyone's been raving about it. It's been an awesome championship, especially since they've all been looking at the dominance of Tim Heinemann. He pretty much needs, I think, if he wins the first race at Bathurst, he will be champion pretty much at the first time of asking properly on a campaign in TPS. So he's looking to try and get the championship in the Virtual Carrera Cup. That's also at Bathurst following Saturday on that one. And so that's it. The TPS Virtual Mini Challenge for 2014 is over, and we have a brand new champion, Eric Strana. Congratulations to Eric, congratulations to Ice Cold for getting their first Driver Championship, and congratulations to TPS Red for getting their first Team Championship. For myself, Scott Woodwiss, John Munro, and everyone here at TPS, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.